On this episode of Taskforce Geek, we will be talking to our guest and friend of the show, Doug Wood. We'll have an update on Bad Candy Issue 3 from Robert Henry. We'll talk about the legal fight between Marvel and several creators over the rights to some very big characters. We'll talk about the Babylon 5 reboot, and I'll explain what a temple harlot is, and that's all coming up now. Hey, welcome to Task Force Geek. My name is Dirk Cooper, and today I am joined by Sean Wilson, Private Eye, this fall on ABC.
Do I need to get up closer to
That's right, this fall. He's fighting crime and doing chicks like only Sean Wilson can. This fall on ABC.
Well.
And we also have the adventurous Walt O'Meal. Walt Thompson.
How you guys doing?
And we have Beth, of course, naturally.
Hey, hey.
We have what I'm calling comic magnate Doug Wood on yet again. We're so happy to have Doug. I have so many questions for you, Doug. But first, we are going to lead off with none other than Robert Henry, who has a little bit of good news about the Bad Candy funding campaign that we're going to open with. Tell us the headline news about your Kickstarter.
Well, we successfully funded over the weekend, so
Yes.
passed our goal, and then we've actually gone several, gone past it. So now it's time to start thinking about stretch goals and those things.
Congratulations, man.
It's been
All right.
it's been really great promoting it. Obviously through this window and what we've been going through, it's awesome that it funded so early, and that we're able to now think about other things like stretch goals and move beyond that and continuing to do things there. A big thank you to anybody that has been a backer or supporter or anybody that's helped us out as we've made our way through this. And we're really, really grateful for all that you've done and all that you've done. And we're looking forward to just continuing to push the campaign to its end and hopefully create some other goodies there along the way and have a lot of fun with it. So,
Dude, this is really good news. It's got to kind of take the pressure off a little bit, right? To have this thing.
Yeah, it is. It's
funded.
nice. Yeah, it's very nice to kind of get to that point to where, particularly early on, so you're not sweating it at the end. I think last time we did just like a 1 week thing because we weren't needing much
Doug
money,
knows.
and we kind of sweated it a little bit. Yeah, exactly. And so, so it can be a little bit tricky, and and it's nice to just get it out of the way early and be like, all right, we're good, we're set, and that's really, really nice. And like I said, and so I guess I'll go ahead and mention I'll be making a post about it, an update on it probably tomorrow or like tonight, but I'll be offering 3 stretch goals. If we get to 1,000, we are going to do individual art cards, little art trading cards. The Strathmore makes them, and every backer will get one of those. So an original piece of artwork from one of the Bad Candy artists. And if we reach 1,000, we'll be doing that. If we reach 1,300, we're going to do a portfolio that will chronicle a lot of the issues and the pieces of artwork that I've been promoting and doing, that I'll be doing every week, that are additional add-ons that people can get. And then last but not least, we get to 1,600, we'll conclude a sketchbook where we'll compile a lot of the artwork and things that have gone into Bad Candy and create a sketchbook that will be given to all the backers as well. So those are kind of the 3 stretch goals. I'll make an official thing on the Kickstarter here coming up. And then also I will take one other opportunity here. And this here is the latest one that I'm working on. Still a little bit of work left on it.
Hey, I like that. That's looking good.
And so, So that's
Very
one there.
cool.
Got a little bit of touch up. I'm going to fill in some of those blacks.
So you're going to be
that's the one
offering
that's going
that?
to be up on the page. Hopefully. Yes, as an add-on to the Bad Candy that people could do. Somebody already got up the add-on that I teased last week, and we put up there. I posted it up, and within 24 hours, it was already claimed. So somebody revised their pledge, and that's awesome. That's kind of why I'm doing it. to kind of keep interest and keep people looking at it. And it's really fun too, because with these things, I'm kind of just throwing out like a light pencil, and then I'm just going straight to inks. And so it allows me a chance to kind of be creative and fluid and just kind of experiment a little bit. So I think that's also a nice plus. You know, you're not getting that kind of, it's just an opportunity for me to say, hey, this is kind of neat. And it allows me to explore maybe playing some heavy blacks or dropping in some certain things. And that's, so I think it's also fun that readers or backers will get, you know, kind of pieces that maybe are a little bit more creative, a little more interesting, a little different than what I would normally do, and help me grow as an artist per se. So
I'm in on those sketch cards. I've obligated myself to do some sketches on those to be original art. They're little bitty cards.
Yeah,
But
and thank you for that. Because I'm
also
all of them myself.
Just like that. And for those who don't know, I did a cover for Bad Candy 3. So
it's a really good cover.
Yeah,
thank you.
It is.
And you know, for those who are not aware of it up to this point, since we have mentioned it the last couple of weeks, but I just want to say again, exciting for me to get some work out there, and it's a cover, which is really cool. And Robert, something that I noticed about this is very interesting to me, is that there are some people that chose to get one cover or another, but predominantly, by a long shot, most people get all three covers. Have you noticed that?
And I think that's really, really great.
I mean, it's not even close. I mean, it's like maybe by 3 times. Yeah. Like 3 times as many people get all 3 covers as get the individual covers. So they're going
and I think that's
long
kind of a
and
cool
large.
Thing. Yeah, and I think that's a testament to the covers themselves too. I think because each cover is kind of distinctly different, and so you would think in some ways people would go, "Oh, I like this one," but I think it's also cool that a lot of people do go, "Wow, well, I like all of them, so I'll take all of them," and that's the purpose of doing the alternate covers and everything else, is to provide somebody with a little difference. But so it is kind of cool that everybody is getting into it more. Yeah, maybe too much like that. So, but anyway. But you know, that's what I think is a lot of fun with that, and I think it's cool. And I think we got 3 great covers, one from me and Joe, one from you, and then one from Scott Van Eck.
Hello, Mom.
Hey, Mom.
Rob, you are going to be making an appearance this weekend at Oafcon, as am I. You want to talk to people about that?
Yeah, Oafcon is in Norman, Oklahoma. It's going to be at the Embassy Suites in Norman, Oklahoma, Saturday.
You're damn right it's Dougwood there, Stoney. Sorry. We got to get Stoney in here. Also friend of the show, Stoney Williams. Thank you very much. Go ahead, Rob. I'm sorry. Oafcon.
And so, but yeah, no, you're good. You're good. But we'll be down there doing sketches, selling books, promoting the Kickstarter, of course. I'll be knocking out more artwork and stuff like that. This is what I really enjoy about doing the shows. The best thing I love about Oafcon is an old school Comic Con. It is just comics. It's not no big celebrities, no gaming really per se. It's just we're focused on comics, and the big problem that I have is there's a lot of really, really cool stuff, and I'm gonna end up probably spending more money than I make, but that's okay because it's really great. There's a lot of great collectibles. Yeah, exactly. So, but it's gonna be it's a fun show. It's kind of like I said. It reminds me of the shows that the very first show I went to was like an all-pure comic show back in the day when I was like in junior high, and so it's just really, really cool to see a show dedicated to that, and just people that get together for just the love of comics. And also, it's great that they promote a lot of Oklahoma talent, and so you get to see a lot of people out there.
You get a table for free if you're an Oklahoma artist.
Exactly.
No one does that. No one else does that. Are you kidding?
Exactly. Yeah. And so it's really great to go out there and just just have fun and just kind of be a part of it. So like I said, it's down there. It's going to be Saturday, Sunday. Embassy Suites in Norman. Oafcon, Oafcon. They have a Facebook group, and I think they've got all their stuff listed and all the retailers and everything else. So if you're in the area and that's your thing, or even if you're a little out of the area and you don't mind making a road trip, please come out. We would love to see you. But like I said, both Dirk and I will be there, and looking forward to participating and having a lot of fun on the weekend and doing lots of cool stuff.
Stoney says he's never heard anything but good things about Oafcon. So there you go. There's a little endorsement from Stoney. I have a surprise to share if I can find it in time. Something I've been wanting to share here the last few weeks and I always forget this. Here it is. Here is a photo from back in Robert Henry and Sean Wilson's modeling days.
Uh-oh.
Ah.
And there it is.
There it is. Yes.
You can see Robert there to
So
the
much fun.
left.
Great day.
This is called the Beauty Queen versus the Hillbilly Zombies. And you can see Robert there all the way to the left, and then Sean is right behind the model there. He's grabbing her. He's grabbing her on the side there. He's wearing the Ellis Trucking hat there.
Got some hair going on there, Sean.
How about Sean has kind of got the
I'm dead sexy.
the Kurt Russell hair going on. Let's call it Kurt Russell hair. The makeup of those zombies was done by Scott Van Eck, who did one of the covers. So that's yet another crossover.
Yes.
Scott Van Eck did one of the covers for Bad Candy, and he spent what 3 hours doing zombie makeup,
Wow.
at least in the
Probably,
hot middle of summer at around noon. It was insane. How long did it take, Sean?
It took a while. I was the first one painted, so I
You
got
were lucky.
to sit.
Yeah, you were
I
lucky.
got to sit and melt while everybody else was.
Right.
Yeah.
Was it 3 hours to do all?
Yeah. So
of
yeah, I
them?
don't think he was lucky.
That's a guess. That's
Okay,
right,
yeah,
and it's
I
like
was
latex
gonna say,
paint
Yeah.
on you.
Yeah, I mean,
if it's taken them longer than 3 hours just to do one person, they need to up their
It was
game.
all those people. I mean,
Yeah.
it was. 3 hours total. It was
Yeah.
about 6 or 7 zombies.
yeah.
Walt-
I
Walt
want to
has
say
seen-
he was about 20 minutes on me, give
Okay.
or take.
Yeah.
So
Using
yeah,
latex.
it
Yeah. Walt's seen me come into work with remnants of
The latex.
latex and horror paint from working the haunted houses. So
That showed up in an art show around here. I took that picture.
that is
That
awesome.
showed up in an art show around here. That was a lot of fun doing that project. Rob, give us the dime tour of Bad Candy, and I'll let you go, buddy.
All right. Well, it's a love letter to 80s horror cinema. We've kind of played it out, and we created a story that was based off of a Halloween sort of myth legend that we decided that we created. I just wanted to draw a pumpkin monster, and then it kind of grew from there. And then it's very much kind of tailored towards that sort of experience, dealing with the themes of Halloween, things of offerings, and that thing. And those type of things, excuse me. And for us, it's just a love letter to 80s horror cinema group. Bad Candy's actually a protector sort of spirit thing, but you have to give it an offering every day in the month of October. If you don't, then it awakens to the wonderful creature that we've seen, and at that point it demands a sacrifice. It's very much patterned after an old god, and so the family does what they're supposed to do, but their house gets taken over by some bank robbers who are on the run, and they don't let them give the offering, and then the chaos ensues.
Yeah.
So there's kind of the gist of the story. We would love for you to check it out. You can get issue 3, and then you can add on issue 1 and 2, and as well as Tasty Treats, which is an anthology that we created, and which hopefully we'll be having another Tasty Treats here before too long. And it's just we kind of created this sort of little Bad Candy verse with Joe Evans and Hooper, and then Sean has going to be doing some other stuff with us. He did the cover for Tasty Treats, as well as he'll be doing stories, a good chunk of stories in the upcoming Tasty Treats.
Yep.
So we're excited to be bringing this little creature to everybody, and I'm very happy that the Kickstarter has been successful thus far. And please go check it out. It sounds like something's up your alley, and hopefully we get some more supporters, and hopefully we can reach some of the stretch goals that I talked about tonight. So.
Yep, absolutely. Hey, congratulations on hitting your goal. But I mean, everyone, please, we'd like to hit a few stretch goals and stuff. He could print some more comics and maybe get some extra things going on if he could get a little extra money. then
Yeah.
things could expand and we could look at bigger stuff, and Robert could do another 4 or 5 conventions before the year's out.
Exactly. So, but very much so. So, all right. Well, thank you folks very, very much. I appreciate you letting me jump in on this and do my little thing here. You guys have
man.
a wonderful show. I'm sorry I won't get to participate in some of the things. I've got some good topics to discuss tonight.
Yep.
And
Good
I got to
stuff.
get back to work. So,
All right.
Congrats,
Thank you,
man.
sir.
all right. You guys take care.
Bye-bye,
Thank
Robert. Thank you.
Robert.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
All right. We got comments here. Yep. The whole gang's here, including you, Ronnie. Welcome to the show.
Hey,
Welcome.
Ronnie's early.
Buddy.
He's
Hey, Jerry.
All right.
Hello,
Jerry's
Jerry.
on there too. All right. So
Ronnie.
we are going now to our feature presentation. So excited to have Doug Wood back again. I'm calling him Comic Magnate, Doug Wood. He's like the latter-day Stan Lee
of the indie scene.
We
of
can
the
go with
indie
that.
scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way I'm playing it.
I like this. I like this term. Yes.
Yeah, he deserves it. Doug's involved in a little bit of the. And let me also say this, Doug. We had Michael Pickard on not too long ago, and not just him. Not just him. Everyone has good things to say about you, Doug. That speaks really well of you, that it's not just like one person that's obligated to say something nice about you. Everyone says nice things about you, Doug.
Happy to hear.
Yeah, it's better than the alternative, right?
Yes. That's all I want to hear from people. Say, hey, he's a nice guy. That's all I want. he may not be a good writer, but at least he's a nice guy. That's what I'm aiming for.
Going with that angle.
You're doing something right. You're doing something right. All right. Well, the first question that I have for you is that you were in the news lately with Leap M and Action Labs. Do you mind talking a little bit about at least what happened there from your end?
Sure. I had been talking to Jared, I'm going to butcher the last name, Luan, on Twitter for a long time. He was one of the people that was on my Big Hype comic, and I've been friends with him for a while. And behind the scenes, he was telling me that we're not going to publish a comic. They kept soliciting in stores and not happening, and he was getting frustrated. And when he started talking about it online on Twitter, I was like, oh, I gotta say something too, because this is ridiculous. And for a long time, they didn't treat me and my co-creator Matt Badalaga very well. And so I spoke up and was talking about how they never paid us. They ghosted a lot of the time frame since we got published. Before they released the book, I had actually written to the editor and said, hey, I would like our contract to be voided. And they stopped responding to my emails, but they would respond to the co-creators' emails, enough so they could drop out our comic and own our comic indefinitely according to the contract. So I just had enough. So many people say, hey, don't make a scene because you don't want to rock the boat where you hurt yourself in future gigs and stuff like that. And I just was like, for one, Jared was good enough to start it, and I was like, he can't be the only one that goes and does this. So I wanted to, even if it meant like all my
wanted to support
opportunities dried up. Yeah. So mine is definitely not on the level of Jared. Jared had a whole 4 issues in the can, waiting to go out for print.
Wow.
But they never showed up. Ours is a little screwed because, I know in that first month before we stopped promoting it, because they ghosted us. But before they ghosted us, I know we were outselling some of their Mutter known titles on Comixology enough that we should have necessitated a print run, but
Right.
every time we try to query about like in a print run, just nothing. So it was
Wow.
very frustrating.
So you now have complete control over Leap M, is that correct?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, we lost it. We lost you there a bit, Doug, and you're muted, which I did not do. There you go.
Sorry, I bumped my laptop.
okay.
Okay. Me and Matt, co-creators, have our rights back. We're looking to try to get it up on Kickstarter for a print run because I feel like it, deserves to
Absolutely.
be a physical version.
Of course.
It's just a one shot. It's nothing too lengthy, but it's we got a lot of
Hey,
good
Lexi.
Hey, Mom.
reviews and press for it. So, sorry.
Yeah, and obviously you've proven that you can bring a Kickstarter home, and get the thing funded.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, you're going to do a great job on this. There's no doubt about it. I think it's sad that you've had to wait this long to get the thing out there.
And how long was it? Were you going through this with that?
I think he froze up again.
It's
Uh-oh.
frozen.
Doug, come back!
Doggone it. Well, I don't know if we've lost him entirely or if he's just frozen.
Uh-oh.
I hear him.
It's trying.
It is. This is
Oh.
live.
Yeah, I lost him.
It's a live broadcast, folks.
Anything can happen on live TV.
Let's see if it comes back here in just a second. You guys are all welcome to ask Doug questions too. I didn't get that out earlier. I hope you guys saw his project called Savage Wizard, which looks
awesome.
amazing.
I didn't get a chance to look at it yet.
Oh, it looks
It's
awesome.
super cool. Here we go. Here's
Oh,
Doug.
there
Here we go.
he is.
Come on, slowly. There he is! Woohoo!
Here we go.
Sorry, I
That's
don't know why
okay.
my internet died.
Yeah, you look much better now. Walt asked how long that it's been sitting there. How long have they sat on it?
Let's see. It came out August, I think, or actually probably around this day, 28th. Yeah, probably like a year and a month now. So
Wow.
we just wanted something to happen. Either give us our rights back. We weren't even asking for the money. We just wanted the rights so we could do whatever we wanted with it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I know that you got a lot of people picked up. Like, I saw some of your tweets on several videos out there. People were talking about you and stuff.
Yeah,
And-
Bleeding Cool covered us.
Yep.
Women. Sorry. Oh no, I forgot. WWC. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Covered us as well.
Cool.
So.
That's cool. And I think I saw you on another couple of videos of that. It was a very interesting story. So, you've got your comic back. Do you have any advice for people who are just getting into the scene? I mean, is there any sort of cautionary tale here?
Yeah. Okay. So, while I knew the contract was bad, because I kept telling myself, well, I was wanting to get my shot, so I was willing to eat a contract that was bad to get another contract that would be good. I recommend to go ahead and talk to a lawyer first. There are several cities, at least in the United States, that have free lawyers for the arts.
Really?
Check a local, main hub city near you, and try to contact somebody and see if they would help you look over the contract. And that would be a big help for a lot of people.
That's great advice, for sure. And also, I think that you are the perfect person to maybe say, maybe it's not a bad idea to self-publish, right?
Yeah. I thought it would help me because, nobody knew who I was. It did help me a little bit with some, but for the most part, I think making my friends just through Twitter helped me more than anything.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's
It's
good.
all about the marketing, no matter what kind of creative venue you're dealing with. It's all about your marketing. It really is.
Yeah. But you said a good thing about Twitter. I think people need to understand that the Twitter comic book scene is very active, and if you get on the good side of that crowd, they will share all of your stuff and will help support you. But you have to reciprocate, of course. You have to be a good member of the community.
Yeah, I say this every time. I started writing comics back in 2009. I did not try to make friends. I tried to be a lone wolf for until 2018. That's when I finally decided to join Discord and Twitter and Instagram, and that's when I finally started trying to make friends, and that's when I actually started making comics. Before then, I was just writing and I wasn't doing anything with them. So having friends made all the difference of what I was doing and what I was producing and what I could make happen.
It's one of the reasons why we started this show a year and a half ago, a little over, a year and a half ago, which is just to give people like you a platform, and to, we had stuff coming down the pike too. The comic we just talked about is a good example of, just kind of, look, you can create your own platform now. 20 years ago you couldn't create your own platform, but now you can. No. And but it only works if you invite people in and help them out as well. Wow.
Hi.
Shawn, it's your cat. Your cat just woke up my cat, man.
Hello to a shell.
Hello, Shell.
Hey, Shell.
Holy cats. Doug, you've got speaking of Kickstarters, you have a Kickstarter going right now. Let's talk a little bit about Savage Wizard.
Okay. I like to describe this very simply. Imagine Conan the Barbarian being forced to reclass as a wizard against his will, and that's Savage Wizard.
That is such a great idea.
If you follow Conan at any time, or any of those big, beefy, manly men, barbarian types in Sword and Sorcery, they usually have distaste for magic.
Yes.
Yes.
And my co-creator Leslie on this, he had just this brilliant germ of an idea, and I just yes, this is the one. Let's do this one.
Yeah, for sure. So you're offering a Kickstarter on this project. Is it a one shot, or is it a series?
This one we should be doing a series. I have it planned we have it planned for 3 issues. So we're hoping to get 2. This is the first step to see how people feel about it.
It's running right now. How's it going?
Let's see. We are just past the second week, and we are sitting at $4,000 out of $6,000. So
wow.
We're
That's
cruising.
Great,
we're getting there.
Could I get someone to bring that up? Doesn't matter who it is, so that we can take a look at that.
Yeah, I got it.
Thank you.
How exactly? Okay, let's see. There we go. Good deal. Let's take that off so we're not covering up Doug. All right. You can see $4,000. 222 people.
Yeah.
Man.
Just tomorrow will be halfway point, so it feels pretty good to be at 4,000 at the halfway point.
It's got to.
Wow.
I mean, you're right there. You're knocking on the door of this thing. What kind of things are you offering in this Kickstarter?
Okay. We are offering a digital copy for $5. It's 40 pages. There's 28 pages of story, and then we got a lot of back material, pin-ups, process stuff. We just wanted to make it more full than a lot of the digital comics and physical comics that you get on these things. So we wanted to make it substantial.
I like that. I like the extra stuff. I like to see the sketches and the character design and stuff.
So this is one of our covers right here.
Great.
Yep. This is by my friend Alaire Rakiko. I think I pronounced that right. We were having trouble with our artists for cover. She offered to do it. She came in, did this cover in about 2 days. It was really amazing. I was like, thank you for bailing us out. Thank you for making such an awesome cover. It's really
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
It looks awesome. What else?
And that interior art is awesome as well.
Yeah, let's Beth, if you would space down through that.
I'm working on it. I'm
Okay.
working on it.
All right.
All right. This is
Because I
this is-
think that the. Go
Good.
ahead, Doug.
Oh, this is artist Brian Flint. I haven't mentioned that yet, but he came on board, and wow, this art is just amazing. And if you like comics, I feel like you should like this. Based
Are
on that
you-
art alone.
Yeah.
Is this going to be black and white or a color comic?
This is going to be a black and white comic. We just really liked the tones he was doing on everything. That were
Absolutely.
like, okay, this got to stay the way it is right now.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, you say Savage Wizard. When you say Savage, I think Savage Sword of Conan. And this stuff reminds me of Savage Sword of Conan. I mean, that's probably the highest compliment that I could pay it, because I was raised on Savage Sword of Conan. This is super cool stuff, but it also has a little bit of the kind of dynamic nature of like manga to it as well, I think.
Yeah. Brian says he definitely he didn't realize how influenced he was by manga, but it just kind of bleeds into all of his art, and he's just the action is just so amazing and fluid and energetic. That's
Yes.
the big word I like to say. I don't like to compare artists, but I told him if you know James Stokey, I feel like the energy of that artist that did like
I like that sword going off the page there.
I do
too.
too. I think that's really
Yeah.
cool. That's why I stopped there.
Look, if the concept of Savage Wizard doesn't have you sold, I think that this interior artwork will seal the deal. I mean, the interior work, it looks, dynamic and awesome to me.
I like this. I love when Lynch delivers itself.
I think that's
There's
a
really
Leslie
cool.
line. I think Leslie came up with that line, so
Yeah,
I really loved it.
Doug, tell us a little bit about what it's like to work with a co-writer. I mean, how did you split your
Sure.
duties there?
First, let me say this story because I always have to embarrass him. Leslie and me,
Yes.
well, it's just mostly because he's so humble. Me and him were on a Discord comics group, and I would see him posting these mini comics that he was doing, and I was so impressed. And I said, "Please, would you work with me?" And he was willing to. And I like to tell him that he's my comics mentor, and he taught
Casey
me how to
Jane.
write, and
How you doing?
it embarrasses him deeply. But I just really appreciated working with him, and he took a chance on me, and we've been working on this off and on for about 2 years now. So I'm glad it's finally getting out there.
How did
it
you
looks
guys
amazing.
actually work back and forth together? I'm just
Sure.
curious.
Sorry. So we set up a Google Doc. It's pretty easy to do, like live,
Yep.
going back and forth, and we just would talk about what we wanted to see. What I recommended, which was different from how I write, but which was like structuring it by using the snowflake method of writing.
Yep.
Which is like you just slowly build up the idea by taking one sentence for the log line, then you take that idea and then you make 3 more sentences to make a full paragraph, and that's your first act, second act, third act. And then from there you take those 3 sentences and make those each a paragraph, so then you have a full page. So you have a full paragraph for each act, and you just keep slowly building characters the same way, the whole process the same way, and you build it until you have your full story and you're ready to go script. And then from there, we just I have this weird knack of being able to tell how many pages each scene's gonna go.
That's good.
I just have this weird gut feeling, and it works pretty well. And so I told him, take this number of pages for this scene. I take this number of pages, and then we would go back and we would take a week of writing, and we come back and we would just squish it together and jam on editing until we really got it to where we liked it.
What did you enjoy the process of working with another writer?
Yeah, Leslie and me worked really well together. I've had it, times in the past where either when you're working with somebody else, they're flaky and you have trouble getting them to work with you, or you don't mesh as well, and we just every idea was pretty well like, hey, no, yeah, that's where, or I can add on to it to make it, where I like it too, and he can do the same to me, and it would just work really well. We never really needed to argue our ideas very often. It was pretty rare, so it was pretty awesome ride.
It's a special relationship when you can find somebody else you can co-write with. I share that with one of my best friends, who's a co-author on one of my books, and it really opens up a lot of brainstorming and other ideas that you don't have writing by yourself.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has their own life experiences, and so they're going to have different angles that you may not consider.
Look at this. Oh my
that
God.
piece is insane.
These variant covers are beautiful.
Yeah.
The first variant cover, sorry, I was talking over, but that's Centerman. He is just an insane person. He, oh no, I guess it's going to be next. But this, okay, so this first one is Maria Wolf. She reached out to us and told us she could do the cover, and we're like, yes, please. And she's done stuff for Marvel for covers, for variant covers and stuff like that. And so we were just so like, yeah, we'll do that.
That's amazing.
And the second cover down here is by Centerman. Like I said, he's a crazy man, and he just is a sweetheart, and I appreciate him so much. He just said, he reached out to me and said, hey, let me do your cover. And I was like, no way. And he's like, yeah, let me do it for you. And I'm going to do something kind of Frazetta style. And I was like,
yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's just like a fine art painting. So it's like,
it is.
Well,
Ronnie, are you looking at this?
Yeah, Ronnie, take a look at that.
Frazetta fan that he is.
We were like, we're not even going to put like anything over top of it either. It's going to be a virgin cover for when it gets printed because it's just too cool.
That's really nice.
That's absolutely gorgeous. Yeah.
You should make posters of that.
Yeah.
I want to, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm thinking about we have prints, and I'm thinking about adding it to one of the print poster things we got going on. If you scroll down just a little bit past that, we have a mini print poster deal. Oh wait, no, I guess it's past the rewards. One is by Ice Ghost. They are blowing up big right now, or she's blowing up big right now. Amazing artist. And then
Very
the next
cool.
one is coming along. It's not quite finished yet, but it's going to be by C. Larson. She did Boom's Orcs. She's doing a mini print for us. So
cool.
Wow. You got it going on.
Big time.
Trying.
Yeah, awesome.
No doubt about it. That's cool. Beth, let me see the bottom. Is there anything else on there?
Let's see what we got. The team.
The very bottom thing is I don't know if I talked about this the last time I was with you all, but I put together this little comics collection group now. Me and my friends now have this thing called the Phoenix Comics Collective. We kind of come together and try to help promote each other. We try to take care of each other with resources, and we're also trying to do some community outreach so other people can come in and talk to us, and maybe we can help them promote their stuff. And we just felt like there's so much of us screaming into a void. Why not scream into the void together and maybe help raise our voices?
Make somebody hear you. Yeah.
That's
when
awesome,
I invited so many of us on board, like Stoney. Well, he was already in the group, but some of the people I invited, I didn't know we were going to be like hitting it hard like we did. But starting in July, we've had 4 successful Kickstarters so far. We've had 2 people doing Dauntless, like what they call Greenlight, which is pretty much like Kickstarter. They've been really successful at that as well. Then me and Les are up, so it's just been like one hit after another for this group, and it's been pretty cool.
That's
awesome.
Great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's great. Do you have a website for that, or?
Yeah, it's just
I think there was a link at the bottom of that.
phxcmx.com. That's us.
There you go. Doug, you have so much stuff going on. What is on your plate next?
Oh, so many things. I apologize. Okay, this is embarrassing. Very next thing is Leap M. Since I have the rights back, me and Matt are working to get the Kickstarter ready. Then in February, Big Hype 2 is coming out.
Right, cool.
We're in the penciling stages. We're getting ready to get inks in, I think, in October 1st.
Tell them what Big Hype is. It's a cool project.
Sure. Big Hype is kind of like Shonen Jump for the rest of the world. So it's the first version was 300 pages of teen-friendly comics, black and white. There was 24 teams. We just had like so many amazing people like David Pepos. We had Eric Palke. We had artists like if you saw that like variant cover Centerman was doing a whole amazing pages in there, and just was a blow away success. We were trying to get $6,000. We ended up with nearly $10,000 in Kickstarter, and
Wow.
so we're hoping to do it again. We got some bigger names on board. We got Michael W. Conrad, who writes like Wonder Woman and
Cool.
Midnighter and stuff like that for DC.
Yep.
He's on board, and same goal, but different group.
Nice.
That's awesome. What
And
else,
then
Doug?
after that, I also have another Kickstarter. No, 2 Kickstarters coming up. I apologize.
That's why I
I'm
call
trying
you
to
a
space them
comic
out.
magnate. Yeah, do you want to talk about those, or is that
Oh, sure. I
is
can.
that for
Yeah.
a later time?
Just to give you like a quick I have my my YA wrestling romance comic. I'm trying to get out there. I pitched it to several
Another YA wrestling romance comic, Doug?
Yeah.
Another YA. Okay.
and we had a lot of interest.
It's a
We had a lot of
combination.
yeah. we had a lot of good feedback, but nobody pulled the trigger on us because people just don't understand pro wrestling, I guess, at least a lot in the literary world. So we're like, okay, we'll just do it ourselves, and we're going to
Yeah.
try to do that. And
Doug,
then,
I mean, I probably don't have to tell you, professional wrestling is very popular on Kickstarter.
oh, I hope so.
It is. I promise you, it is.
Okay.
Hey, wrestlers need their own romance stories too, okay?
I think so.
Not gonna argue this.
Okay. And
I
then
mean,
my other comic.
Oh, excuse me. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, historically, one of the biggest stories in wrestling history was Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth getting married. So
Yep.
Yeah, and it's just like there's been so many like big moments lately. I feel like connected to like romance stories, and I feel like for wrestling that is, and so I felt like there's an audience for there. People like that kind of drama and stuff like that. So I wanted to set it in like a teen thing. I don't know. It's always fun when, because kids have that sloppy drama feel thing that pro wrestling is all fun about,
It's
Right.
It's the sloppy teenage angst thing,
Right.
in romance. So yeah.
And I always say the best part of wrestling isn't what's happening in the ring; it's the witty banter that goes on outside
Yes.
and on the microphone. So
That's true.
I mean, that's,
Doug,
that's the only reason why I ever watched wrestling was to hear The Rock and Stone Cold speak. So
Yeah,
Oh, those were
absolutely.
always the best ones. Oh.
And you have one more project that's coming
Yeah.
next year?
Yeah, it's already all drawn up for ready to be presented. Maybe some people seen on Twitter. It's called In the Pale Moonlight. I like to explain it as what if Batman woke up in limbo and found 7 other Batman impersonators in there with him, and Batman ends up dead. Which one of the 7 Batman impersonators killed him? And so I just like the idea of every Batman being on the same plane, like the playing evil level, playing field, because so many stories is Batman going and beating up some guy and like threatening him. But how can you threaten somebody on the same level as him? So how can he solve a mystery when he's working against him, the same type?
So you're playing Among Us with Batman.
Exactly. somebody knew right away. Thank you.
Anything more on this, Doug?
This is the follow up to that.
Ah,
So if you might recognize some of the characters in
interesting. This
All
is
right.
done by Doug Wood and Michael Pickard.
yeah.
I don't know who those guys are, Dirk.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know who those guys are.
Never heard of them.
Never heard of them.
Doug, you are so busy. Does anyone have any other questions that they'd like to ask Doug when we're on his segment here?
No, my main question was that one was, how long he'd been going through that problem with Leap M, and that's just. I mean, I'm really glad you got everything back. So you guys
It's a big story.
You guys can get that out there.
It
That's
says
great.
a lot
That's great
about the
stuff.
comic industry and kind of what's happening with in retail comics, and I think it's also a bit of a cautionary tale. So I thought it was important to kind of lead with that. And since you were at the tip of the spear on that story,
And I forgot to mention in the beginning, I was one of the lucky few that got my rights back. The person I started the story with was Jared. He has not gotten his rights back.
Really?
They're trying to make him pay money for comics that they printed. There we go. And saying he owes $13,000 to buy out the printed run that they did.
He hasn't seen any sign of that printed run though.
No, there's
That's-
no.
I mean, even
that can't be right. That makes no sense at all.
No.
And
because
so-
if they did a print run, he should have at least got a proof copy to approve before it went out to the public.
I
Right.
need proof of life.
Diamond should have some kind of, like a printer, like receipt or something like that. So there's nothing to prove that. So I can't talk for him, so I won't speak too much. But there are several people in the same boat that they're trying to tell them they owe them anywhere from 11 to 20 to whatever $1,000 to try to get back their rights, and it's just.
This sounds like a
Doug, if
company
you're in touch with him, and if it would help, tell him we'd love to have him on the show. We'll talk about it, and help a few more people know what's going on. Tell his side of the story. We'd love to help him.
This sounds like a company with financial issues that's doing everything they
unquestionably.
possibly can to stay afloat.
It reminds me.
And in some regards, we've had a bit of an issue here the last year and a half.
Yeah.
With the economy and everything else. So I mean, I get it. It's a difficult time, but messing over creators is not the way to handle that.
I will say that is correct, but there are many stories pre this, and it sounded like what they were doing going into the lockdown was they were trying to print out as many, not print out. They were trying to push out as many digital comics to own the rights to try to gain back some money. Why they lock them in, and also to fill some of the coffer. Just like, hey, if I'm getting this much money off of these digital comics, that'll help stave off some of the. I can't, that's maybe conjecture. I don't know, but it's what it feels like. It's.
Were you getting royalties off of your digital comics from this company?
No, I never saw any money.
Oh yeah, something's
that's
not
bollocks.
right.
I never saw a
No.
sales chart from them. I mean, I figured out a different way, but there is no sales chart from them.
Yeah.
They're in trouble. I can't believe that they are putting any resistance on giving everyone their contracts back. That's a
No, they know they're in trouble.
I can't believe that it's somebody that doesn't have it in court yet. Or is it in court with anybody?
It costs so much money to do that.
I know.
Yeah, but in this case, it's worth it because as the creator, unless there's something concrete in writing, I mean, even the contract, there's probably loopholes that a lawyer can get through.
Yeah.
Especially if there's no proof of a print run, especially if there's no proof copy that the creator said, okay, this looks great, let's I mean, even self-publishing, like what I do with my books with Ingram Spark, I get to look at the proof before I push that button and say let it roll.
Yeah.
So there should be, even if it's a digital proof, there should be some proof out there that the creators need to approve first before it goes either to a digital run and especially a print run. There should be a hard copy proof. There should be, if you're in a contract with someone who's pushing out your stuff, there should be royalties. There should be royalty statements. Where's his half of the money? Where's his part of the money going? Even if it's only a 2% royalty, where is that money going?
Right.
It's not going to the creator. So a lawyer's going to look at all of these things and fight for the creator against a company that's, basically screwing them over.
Yeah.
Hey, Doug, I'm going to put you up here on the screen again, and just tell them about Savage Wizard, and get them over there so we can get you over. We can get you funded.
Okay. Savage Wizard, like I said, it's just like a barbarian. Let's say a himbo barbarian that is forced to reclass as a wizard against his will. He's teaming up with a kind of quirky, doom-saying wizard to try to stop the end of the world due to his backstabbing friend.
Very cool. And you're
peanut butter approves.
And you're having you're about what, 1,000, 2,000 away from your goal.
Yeah.
And how long do you have?
Halfway in.
Okay. So you're halfway. You have about 2 weeks left?
16 days, according to the Kickstarter.
16 days. Okay. Yep. So everyone, look, you have 16 days to get over there and support this. I mean, you've seen the artwork. You know the story. I don't know what else that I can say on that, but get over there and help Doug out and his team, and let's get another Kickstarter funded for him. Good luck on that, Doug. It looks like a really great story.
Thank you so much.
And if there's anything else we can do for you on this, then tell us. We'll put you on like we did Robert here at the beginning of the show.
All right, sounds great. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, we're going to move on to the next subject. Let's see. What is that going to be? Here we go. This is a big thing that happened here over the past week, and it's one of those things that could kind of affect a lot. It's kind of an interesting story, I think. The Walt Disney Company has become embroiled in a legal battle over its intellectual property again. This time, a host of famous Marvel superheroes are involved. The estates of former Marvel artists say they should soon recover some ownership of these characters. The House of Mouse begs to differ. What has happened? Disney is suing the estates of prominent comics writers and illustrators in a bid to establish that it entirely owns certain Marvel characters these artists helped create. Why now? Earlier this year, these estates served Disney's Marvel Entertainment with notices of a term called copyright termination. They contend that Marvel's copyrights to these characters will start expiring from 2023 because of the way the characters were created. So I don't know who's all has been following this sort of thing, but just get Beth, you've been following it pretty hard? Okay.
I've been following it pretty hard.
I'll go to you first then.
I've been following this pretty hard because a lot of this was these guys did these comic books for hire. They were hired by Marvel to write these characters. It's work for hire. It's basically the same as what we do freelancing. We write the articles for a client and we back away and we say, okay, it's yours. We've been paid a set amount of money for the work that we did. We relinquish any control of the copyright and everything else. And looking at the lawsuits, these are family members of some of these famous people, both Stan Lee and his brother, I can't remember the guy's name, his last name was Lieber. They have family members that are trying to pull these comic copyrights back. And
the latest round is relatives of Steve Ditko.
Yes, Ditko is one of the other ones, yeah. But from what Disney and Marvel are coming out and saying, this was all stuff that was done work for hire. And honestly, I think Marvel and Disney have a leg to stand on if they can show that this stuff was work for hire, that they do own the copyright. These family members don't have a leg to stand on as far as getting the copyrights back, and nor should they. Right. If these were done and Ditko and Lieber and Stan Lee were paid cash and everything, that was their job. Their job was to create these characters, to write these comic books. They got paid for it, and a sentence. It belongs to Marvel.
Yeah. Shawn, what do you think about this story?
It sounds to me like it's just family being douche nozzles.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
I mean,
there's a lot of money involved.
There is a lot of money that they did not earn.
They did not.
Look, everything that I do during the day is pretty much work for hire. I design, I create an ungodly amount of graphics, banners, logos, you name it. I just did a label for a bottle of barbecue sauce today. Guess what? I don't own jack.
Right.
The studio that I work under, they own it all. I can't come back, 15 years later saying, hey, I deserve more money. No, it doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work that way.
Right.
Yeah.
Anybody that is siding with the family, you're a moron. You don't understand the way the world works. Read.
They definitely don't understand how copyright works.
Nope.
No. Read, get a clue. You want to hate on the corporation that is Disney, have a ball, but they're in the right. I hate to tell you. This is 100% Disney. Disney did good. They own it. Sorry. There's nothing more. You're wasting time. You're wasting money. Move along.
All right. Doug, what do you think?
Okay, so my memory's a little bit fuzzy on this because I followed this for so long on this now. If I remember correctly, these things have changed in laws from when they started, right? When Ditko and Stan Lee first created the characters, copyright and characters were supposed to fall in public domain after so many years, and then that's when Disney started doing their thing with Mickey Mouse and making sure that they owned him indefinitely, if I'm correct, right?
Right.
So
yeah.
Correct.
These things have changed over time to where it may be that is the way it is now, but there's never been a press precedence that shows that they, because most in these cases, like when it fell to the family of Superman, I think most of those
Siegel and Schuster.
Yeah, they settled out of court, and so it never got that far.
They did. They did not win that case, but they did settle.
Yeah.
To have a judgment on it, at least.
Yep.
So
but they've also gone after DC, I believe, on 3 separate occasions. Most recently, they went after him. I believe it was about 2 years ago, and it was the great grandkids of the artist creators that went after DC. Sorry.
Yeah.
You
These people are
deserve nothing.
Yeah, they're trying to cash in on their families, creations, and that's not how this works.
I mean, it's not like we're talking about Captain Marvel Shazam, where that was a totally different monster with that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've done several things for the last company I worked for, where I've done posters and everything, and I have that artwork, but I can't publish it. I mean, I can say that, hey, I can post it online and say, hey, I did this, but I can't make prints of it and say,
use it for a portfolio.
So I can use it for my portfolio, and that's it. So, the only thing I see The only thing I see cool out of this is if it drags on, we might get to see a slew of movies of Spider-Man in the black and white costume.
Right, because that wasn't created by Ditko. Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did wonder. Did I lose my thought?
It's all right. Happens.
Dude, that happens to me about 46 times a day. That's all right. Well,
I completely lost it.
that's okay. I will say that I read a little bit on this today, and I think one of the interesting things that someone brought up was that there was another copyright termination case that was brought on Marvel back in 2012 about some much smaller characters. They weren't characters like Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. They were, piddly characters. And according to this article, Disney was winning this case. I mean, like by miles, they were winning this case backwards and forwards. And apparently the Supreme Court, which would be the final arbiter of this, always sides with the big companies. Like there's like large precedent for this sort of thing. And yet Disney blinked and took it out of court and paid a settlement to make sure that this issue was not an issue. They were completely unwilling to take a chance on this, on losing these characters. So I think that all of you are absolutely 100% correct. I don't think they had the relatives of these people that created these characters have no case whatsoever. It's all bollocks. But I think that Marvel and Disney is making too damn much money to even take a 10% chance of losing these characters to some silly, some great lawyer or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I think that there's a possibility that you're going to see two things. I think you're going to see on this deal, you're going to see a big payoff. They're going to take some of that fat cash, that fat Marvel Cinematic Universe cash, and probably make a good payment to these people just to make them go away. And you're probably going to start seeing some of these creators show up, like for Spider-Man. It will say, and maybe it already does. Do you guys remember like them mentioning someone other than Stan Lee on Spider-Man, like created by Steve Ditko or anything like that? I don't know. But if there is an issue on that, I think you will probably get some credits on the movies here, movies, television series, comics, everything else. And I also remember something that came up a few weeks ago where who was the guy who created Thanos and the Secret Wars and all that sort of stuff?
Starlin.
We covered a story a few months ago where legal contacted Jim Starlin and said, hey, we want you to sign over the rights to these characters and stories. And he's like, that was a work for hire thing. I don't have to sign anything. You guys have it. You own it. I know that. I got paid. I'm good. And they said, look, just sign this thing and take the money, stupid.
That wasn't Starlin. That wasn't Starlin. But,
who was it? Shooter?
I believe it was Shooter.
Okay. I thought that was an interesting story, but it's very clear to me that now, looking at this story, that Disney was dotting the I's and crossing the T's
they were covering
to make
their
sure
services.
that in another 10 or 20 years, they didn't have to deal with him or his relatives, if he passes, not dealing with his relatives on the same issue. They're trying to wrap this up right now. No doubt about it.
Now I think it would be really cool if, legally they own these characters, but if Disney were to decide, you know what, we're making a lot of money off of these characters from these old guys and these old, that created these, let's do them a favor and drop them a few bucks for I'm all good for that. But if the family wants to come out, after these guys have all passed away or whatever, and say, hey, what about me, boss? What about us? No.
Now,
I
correct
did-
me if I'm wrong, but isn't Disney suing the families in this case?
It's
Yeah.
a countersuit.
This
It's
is
a
a preemptive.
Okay, so did this happen prior where Disney said, fine, here's some money, go away? No, I don't believe they did. So
No.
this, I think they've got a stronger leg that they're standing on
Yeah.
with this.
They do.
I don't think they're going to bow. I don't think they're going to give.
I don't think they're going to lose these characters. I think that some people are going to get some cash. Some fat cash. Go
I
ahead.
wonder
Doug.
though, because Ditko is pretty a notorious person that like he left Marvel right under not being happy with them. This could
True.
be maybe because and a lot of older creators kind of died destitute because they didn't keep they didn't get a lot of their rights and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I do wonder if the brother has some money maybe to to fund this court case, and maybe he won't settle. Maybe he'll try to go for the home run because his brother was such a notorious kind of, I don't want to say crank, but what I'm saying, like he
Yeah.
didn't
But-
like
but-
he
but
didn't
again-
like Marvel.
But again, these were supposedly done as work for hire, which means Ditko got paid for it
Yeah.
and relinquished the rights and a sentence. The brother has no leg to stand on.
Sure, no,
Yeah.
I'm just speaking of
Yeah.
settlements.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
wondering if he'd be more willing to try to if he is going to push this longer than a normal family court case than just looking for the settlement. I don't know, but that's just because of Ditko's personality. I just wondered if that would be the case here.
I also think that this is kind of another cautionary tale here. Doug, if Netflix knocks on your door and says they want to do an Ultramax TV series, you don't have to negotiate with a company for the rights. Those rights are yours. You get paid. You're the creator. You're the owner.
Right.
That makes a big difference.
That's like the rights with my books. When Arch Books closed at the end of 2019, all of the rights to my books reverted back to me. The rights to the hardback and paperback and e-versions of the book, they never held the audiobook version rights, for publishing. I still held those. So as far back as 2015, I could have gone and had an audiobook version made, and Arch couldn't have done a darn thing about it. But as soon as they closed their doors, the rights to all of my books came right back to me without any argument.
That's good.
And I turned around and self-published them because I didn't, I was not tied to any sort of contract with them anymore. That's the thing. What does the contracts say about the work that was done? My contract said Arch Books is willing to put the money into publishing these books. I relinquish my rights to them for a set period of time. As long as they're publishing my books, I still own it, but they also have the right to do what they want with it.
I'm willing to bet at the time they just clocked in, sat at their desk, drew pictures, went home at the end of the
Cranked it
evening.
out. and, yeah,
Right.
Got paid for it, cranked it out, and that was it.
Those were different times too,
Yeah.
folks.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
different times. All right, I'm moving on to our next topic. All right, a new version of the Emmy-winning space opera television series Babylon 5 is in the works. The CW has put in development Babylon 5, described as a from-the-ground-up reboot of the critically acclaimed 1990 series from original series creator J. Michael Straczynski and Warner Brothers Television. Written by Straczynski, the reboot revolves around John Sheridan, played by Bruce Boxleitner in the original series, an Earth Force officer with a mysterious background who is assigned to Babylon 5, a 5-mile-long space station in neutral space, a port of call for travelers, smugglers, corporate explorers, and alien diplomats at a time of uneasy peace and the constant threat of war. His arrival triggers a destiny beyond anything he could have imagined, as an exploratory Earth company accidentally triggers a conflict with a civilization a million years ahead of us. putting Sheridan and the rest of the B5 crew in the line of fire as the last best hope for the survival of the human race. Who saw the original series? You three? Doug, you never saw the original series. I did not.
If you have HBO Max, binge it.
They are showing it on there. I'm going to go to Shawn first. If you want to talk a little bit about the originals, what you thought about the original series, and what do you think about them doing a reboot?
Well, as far as them doing a reboot, as long as Straczynski's involved, have a ball.
Yeah.
If they were doing it without his involvement, I'd probably be far more hesitant. The effects were great for the time, but they look dated now. Some of the stories were great at the time. They're a little dated now. So to see them kind of reimagine it, give it a little bit more of a modern take, a bit more budget, because they didn't really have a budget back in the day.
They were shoestring deluxe.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think it's a great idea. I'm a little shocked that it took this long. I'm even more surprised that it's going to the CW.
Yeah, that's what I'm surprised.
That's a weird mix, but
I understand why it's going to CW though, because it's a Warner Brothers product.
Hey, there's Steve.
Hey, Steve.
Steve.
It's a Warner Brothers product, so it makes sense that it would go CW to me.
Is it a Warner Brothers product? Because
originally it is.
Yeah, it was Warner Brothers back in the end too. It was syndicated, but it was a Warner Brothers studio thing.
I don't remember. I enjoyed the show back in the day. I thought the characters were varied. The characters were alien. You know, they did I think for what they had, they did a great job with it. So yeah, I'm really eager to see how they're going to advance that and what they've got. Granted, it could be horrible. Fully,
it could be.
Fully have that in the back of my head, but again, they've got Straczynski involved. He's writing out the story, and what people need to remember is he had the entire show, from beginning to end,
5-year series,
finished before he submitted it.
Yep.
And so there wasn't, well, gosh, what are we going to do? Well, how are we going to? No. It was all done.
Get it planned out.
So, you know, that's rock and roll. You know, I mean, that right there tells me he's got a plan. Let's follow it. Let's see what he wants to do with it. I'm excited.
Ben Soto
No.
says the reboot will star Robbie Amell.
No.
Well, he's still got his wrestling TV show, so I don't know.
He says that that's Stephen
Steve.
Amell, isn't it?
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
Steve.
Wasn't on the WB channel back in the day. That's now CW. Is that true?
It was on, I think, UPN.
UPN, yes, UPN.
Yeah.
But didn't UPN and WB merge?
UPN and
They
WB
did.
merged, and then WB eventually became CW. Yeah.
So
Right.
it was no longer the Paramount Network.
Yeah.
Right. All right, Walt, we're going to you. What did you think about the old show, and are you looking forward to the new one?
I love the old show. I will say that like the very first few episodes of Babylon 5 lost me, and then I came back to the show.
It was a little
slow, but I came back when Bruce Boxleitner came on board.
Yeah,
and was then for the whole ride after that. I do know, useless trivia. One of the episodes, Space Battle, for a short time held the world record for most computer-generated objects on a TV screen. It was something like over 10,000 spaceships in one frame.
That's
Strangely, that does not shock me.
Yeah, so
I'm pretty sure it was the battle with the shadows too.
Oh yeah, it was a battle with the shadows.
It was one of the shadow, and the new it was the shadow battle, and it was the new Minbari ships.
Right.
There
There were 10,000 objects on the screen, and I dare anybody to find that episode and freeze it and count them. Like literally count all the spaceships that were on the screen. So,
Not to mention, back in the day, can you imagine the render on that?
The render
Oh,
on the head
no
of it is
kidding.
insane.
no kidding.
You just set it and go, I'm going on vacation for a month. I'll be back.
Right.
You probably had
Oh,
that
crap,
on
it's
a
only
home
halfway
computer
done.
somewhere.
Yeah.
All right, Beth, what do you think?
Babylon 5 is like Farscape, near and dear to my heart. No, Steve, I'm not sending you the fan fiction. Forget it. Don't do that. There is B5 fan fiction floating around on my computer. I am with Shawn and Walt, though. With JMS coming back and helming this, I am interested in seeing what he does. I know for a fact that Bruce Boxleitner, Bill Mumy, who played Lanier, Claudia Christian, who played Ivanova, and there's a couple of others. Peter Jurassic, who played Londo. They're like some of the ones that are still with us today from the original cast. They all knew about this. I follow Bruce Boxleitner and Claudia on Instagram and Twitter, and as soon as JMS announced it, they came out, they said, yes, we knew about this. Yes, he has kept us in the loop the entire time. No, we don't know what he's doing. No, we don't know if we will have any involvement. I find it very reassuring that he kept the original cast in the loop. Hopefully he's thinking about maybe,
Some
tapping
cameos.
tapping some of their ideas for the new show. What I do find interesting is the fact that he's completely skipping over Sinclair's story. And I find that interesting because of how the war in the original was fought. The fact that at the end of one of the seasons, I think season 2 or season 3, we get the reveal that Sinclair was actually Entelza. Can't think of his name.
I do remember that there was some time travel that went on with that too.
There was a little bit of time travel that went on with that. We find out that he was actually the Minbari holy man. He's the leader. He's the one who started the Rangers. Entelza, which is Ranger 1. I'm curious why JMS is skipping that particular part of the storyline.
I have a theory.
Because it is pretty significant, in my opinion. Yes, season 1 is rough to watch of the original series. But I feel if you don't watch that season, if you don't just grin and bear it, you miss out on a lot of background story that's covered with Sheridan once Bruce Boxleitner comes on the show. But I'm kind of excited, just a little hesitant, and my hesitation comes more from them doing it on the CW than doing it on other channels.
Yeah.
The CW has a habit of being very teenage, young adultish.
Youth oriented?
Yeah, youth oriented in their storytelling. So it's a little concerning. I fear that we may not get as many of the space battles as we would like to see with the CW, just because the whole let's tame down violence kind of thing. But for the most part, with JMS involved, I'm in. I'm definitely in.
Doug, do you have any thoughts on this?
I used to be a fan of JMS, but for some reason I kind of fell off as a comics fan of his writing. So I don't know if I'd check this out, but maybe I'd give it a shot.
If you've never seen the original, you might find the reboot more interesting.
Yeah.
I never even tried it, so I might like the older stuff because I did like his older writing. I feel like, so we'll see.
I have a few thoughts on this subject, even though I have not seen the original series.
Sweet Jesus.
This is a deal where, kind of like Firefly, I didn't watch Firefly for the, like 6 or 7 years after it was released. And the reason is because I watched a few of those first season episodes and they didn't capture my imagination. And I always thought, I will watch this sometime when it's, like I can watch them, I can get it on DVD or something back in the day, or, now streaming, and I could watch the thing from beginning to end. So anyway, yeah, they kind of lost me at the beginning, and I got interested because Bruce Boxleitner was on there, because I always liked Bruce Boxleitner.
Yeah.
But then I felt like I was too far behind. I didn't know what was going on, and I knew that this was a cohesive story, beginning to end. And I thought, you should just watch the thing from the beginning or whatever. So I never watched it. I was in a panel. I was in a panel at San Diego Comic-Con with J. Michael Straczynski before the show started. And he had dailies that he was showing for Babylon 5. And he said, I've got a 5-year plan on this thing. It's going to have a little bit of, Star Trek in it. It's going to have a little bit of The Prisoner in it. It's going to have a little bit of, Star Wars in it. And, I was completely sold on it. So, I actually knew about this thing before it was even announced, because I went to that panel and it was very cool. And then he just didn't sell me with his final product there, at least in the
in the beginning.
first season.
Yeah.
Now, obviously the effects are a hell of a lot better. Holy cats. I mean, they can, whatever it is that they want to do, they can do on the CW. And I'll also say something, I will give one other bonus to the CW, which is your ratings can be crap and they will keep running you over and over again.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if it's even remotely good, you probably have a good chance of it hitting 5 years. And even if they cancel it or something, there's always a chance it'll go to HBO Max or whatever.
Amazon Prime.
So, right. Amazon, Netflix, whatever. So there's a good chance that you are going to get the 5 years out of this. And, I think that much like, what's his name, Miller with the Mad Max stuff, I think that maybe if Straczynski has another shot at this, that he might, and some more money, and a little better production, he might have some second thoughts on some things and maybe can bring things into the story that weren't there the first time. So I think that, I will catch it from the beginning on this thing. And I promise if I get HBO Max, I will watch the old series as well. So there you go. Brian James says, CW crapped on the Archie world with Riverdale. I'll never forgive them.
This is why I'm a little concerned about CW, but
I don't know. That
CW
redhead in Riverdale is worth watching.
CW did right by, a couple of different shows, most notably Supernatural.
Yeah.
And if they approach this with the same care that they approach Supernatural, I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be all right.
Guys, we're going to say good evening to Doug.
Sorry, everybody.
That's okay, man.
That's good, man. Thanks for
one more
sticking
time.
with us.
Real quick. Let me just say, get over to savagewizard.com and make a bid for Doug's Kickstarter, and follow him on Twitter, because there is some good stuff over there. Hey, thank you, Doug.
If you can, please help support us. This is the way it's going to get made. It doesn't get made without support. So
Already got you, man. I already put in mine.
Help make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Have a good evening.
Thank you. You all have a good evening. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
You're welcome back anytime. You're welcome back
are my
anytime, Doug.
favorite,
We love you.
I love coming on this one.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very
Doug.
much.
Have a good evening, man. All right. And then there were 4.
One of the nicest guys in comics, just got to say.
And talented and connected. That guy makes things happen. He makes things happen. He's going to get that thing fully funded, and you can you can see all the other good stuff that he has. He's such a great guest. It's always a pleasure to have him participate here. Brian James says Supernatural is the series we're all rooting for. CW could throw us a bone. Shawn and Walt need to be involved.
Same here, man. I would
Supernatural.
Some of that.
Supernatural.
Supernatural.
Oh,
We're already working on the Hooper Friends. So
Pump, you should see the introduction to this show. You will like the way that I introduced Shawn. That's all I'll say.
that was all Pump.
It was totally that was totally for Pump. Brian says that Beth can direct.
Thank you. Not sure
Supernatural.
how that'll go, but okay, we'll try this. Spread my wings some more. Why not?
All right. All right. It can happen.
It has in the last year, Dirk. Okay, I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, it certainly has. All right, we are moving on to On Blast. Jeree says she's been a fan of Bruce Boxleitner since Scarecrow and the Mrs. King. I
Marie,
will.
here's one for you.
that's a deep cut.
TV show called Bring 'Em Back Alive. That is what I remember Bruce Boxleitner.
Was he in
from.
that?
He
What was that?
He played some sort of big game hunter and maybe lasted a season, but I remember watching it. It came on before Buck Rogers and Tales of the Gold Monkey.
Oh,
Oh
wow.
my God! I was just going to mention Tales of the Gold Monkey.
It was.
Why
it
did
was
I?
in that.
Why did that show make me think of Tales of the Gold Monkey? I was going to say.
It was in the same that same time frame as Tales of the Gold Monkey and Buck Rogers.
Do you
and all
guys
of that.
remember Tales of the Gold Monkey?
Oh yeah, I
yeah,
watched
yeah,
it
yeah.
religiously. Yep.
Why can't we have a reboot of Tales of the Gold Monkey?
I've been thinking that same thing, especially since I
Awesome.
saw the box set in Walmart for like a really ungodly cheap amount of money last year.
Oh my God, I need to find that.
I found Bruce Boxleitner through Tron.
Same here.
I've always loved Bruce Boxleitner. And my niece Kat, who was on Kitty Cat Pride, yeah, that's her favorite.
Bruce Boxleitner.
Bruce
Bruce
Boxleitner. She loves him. As a matter of fact, I was looking for something on the other day. Grim and Goose,
Always
yes.
with the airplane update.
That was
Steve says,
That was-
I remember
that was-
Tales
yeah.
because of the kick-ass Grum and Goose. That was kick-ass. It was very cool.
that was the only reason why I watched it too. Oh, by the way, what is it? Disney's animated show was a
Hilda Aisley?
spoof of that.
Chippendale Rescue Rangers?
No, the
That
other one.
always made me think of it.
The other one,
Chippendales Racing Race.
the other one with Baloo. bear. That was a spoof.
What came first?
DuckTales.
What came first? Wait a minute.
Tailspin.
No.
Tailspin. That's what it was. That was a spoof of
Tales of the Gold Monkey?
Tales
Tales of the Gold
Oh my
Monkey.
God,
Yes.
That's awesome.
What came first? Chip and Dale or Chippendales?
Chippendale.
Chippendale.
That was a
No.
that wasn't a real question. Please tell
It
me.
was a real question.
No.
Inquiring
What?
minds
No.
want to know.
God,
Tailspin is correct. Yeah.
There you
Tailspin
go.
was a spoof of
Steve with the win.
Tales of the Gold Monkey.
You're going to get a cardboard cookie?
I'm pretty certain Chip and Dale have been around since the early 60s, maybe late 50s.
All right.
Chip and Dale's has been around since the 80s.
Okay.
Dying here.
I don't know for a fact. I don't have facts pulled up right now. But
All right. I'm willing to-
spitballing here.
I'm willing to acquiesce that you are the expert on Chippendales.
I would say I'm more the expert on Chip and Dale.
Ditto that.
Don't
Aisley-
know much about Chip and Dale.
And hopefully I pronounced that right, Aisley. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. Watching from
Hey,
the Philippines. That's
All
cool.
right, we're international today.
I
All
love
right.
that.
I love that too.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for watching.
Steve says the Chippendale chairs way before either Chippendale chair. Oh, right. Chippendale chairs. Right. That's where that phrase comes from. Thanks for ruining the whole routine, Steve.
Actually, Steve, yeah. Thanks for ruining the whole routine.
Thanks.
Thank you. We appreciate that. Three of us appreciate you ruining it.
I love you, Steve. I love you.
All right, let's see. First on blast, we're going to talk about some shizzle that we watched or played or read or whatever we got there. And to begin this thing, we're going to go to Beth first.
Wow. Man, it's been a slow
I mean, I
week.
didn't mean to put you on the spot, Beth. Have you not consumed anything? Or Steve says that's what I do.
I've consumed setting up my Patreon there, Dirk.
Steve ruins shizzle.
And actually, no, I can say I this past week I've focused a lot on my writing, but I did have a couple of nights where I sat down and pulled out some oldies but goodies. Revisited Space Cowboys.
Space Cowboys. The
movie.
with
That's a good movie.
Wait a minute. That had Clint Eastwood in it, right?
Tommy Lee
Jones,
James Garner.
Oh, James Garner.
Yeah.
I love James Garner.
Sutherland.
Donald Sutherland.
Oh, wow. That's a good lineup.
James Wood.
James Woods?
James Woods, yeah.
That's a damn good lineup.
It was a bunch. Basically, it was a bunch of old, some of our old guy favorites.
Yeah.
Those are all good.
Yeah.
I love Donald Sutherland.
One of the things that I had forgotten
That's all
about
good
that
stuff.
movie is there's a British actor named Toby Stephens in that movie who plays Clint Eastwood's younger self.
Yeah.
And I know I originally saw Toby Stephens on BBC's Robin Hood. He is my favorite version of Prince John. But Toby Stephens has also been in the TV show Black Sails, if you've watched that.
Okay, I have not, but I'm familiar with it.
And he does a great job as a young Clint Eastwood. You can tell he studied his mannerisms and everything.
Jury says it's a good movie.
Oh, it also had James Cromwell.
James Cromwell, not James.
Oh my
Wood,
gosh.
James Cromwell. And Jury, you know darn well as I do that if he was flirting with us when he passed his eye test, we'd both take him out for dinner too. And then after that, I watched Last of the Mohicans, which I had not watched in quite a few years. Another one with a big name cast. And then for fun, Toby Stephens, Diana the Day Villain. Yes.
Interesting, Steve. That's a good call out.
I forgot about that. And then
that's why we love you, man.
The last one we watched, and this started an entire conversation yesterday with the girl who was helping me find cover models for my next 4 books, was Chuck Norris's Missing in Action.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
The entire run of Missing in Action, all 27 episodes.
Right, no joke. Man, I forgot how good that movie was. It really is a good movie, and they don't make action movies like that anymore. They
do not make action movies like the 80s. That is for damn sure.
No, nothing like the 80s.
They will never replicate Commando.
No.
Oh,
for example.
No, never.
No.
I would say that for me, that's the ultimate 80s action movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so insanely over the top.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all I've consumed other than What If and Titans. Oh, and the first 3 episodes of Doom Patrol.
Oh, okay. Very interesting.
I've got to get my Brendan Fraser fix in, so there you go.
Of course. All right.
Other than that, I've really been focused this week on editing and other stuff. Sorry, guys. Beth's a bit boring this week. Oops.
That's all right. We're going to go to Walt next.
Let's see. Some of the same things that Beth has watched. The first 3 episodes of Doom Patrol. I also sat down and watched the first 4
Gotcha.
I sat down and watched the first 4 episodes of Why the Last Man on Hulu.
Yes.
Yeah, I gotta get on that one.
I watched the first episode of that.
That first episode is pretty cool. The way they set you up is a pretty good setup.
It is.
Let's see. The other thing that I watched,
By the way, on Why the Last Man, the creators of that comic are executive producers on the show, which I think is wonderful.
Yes, same here. The other things that I watched, is I decided to watch bad 90s cartoon series.
Yes.
There's no
Really
such
bad. Oh, yes, there is. Yes, there is.
Really bad, Walt.
You want me to define really bad? Okay, I'm going to start off with the best of the bad, which is probably my third time watching this one in as many weeks, but I like it. This one, it's a guilty pleasure dislike or so to speak. That's the Savage Dragon animated series.
I don't remember Savage Dragon anime.
It ran on the USA Sunday Morning Cartoon Express.
I don't remember that one either.
That sounds absolutely
How long did that run?
2 seasons.
Right.
I don't remember
So it's the only reason why I have it listed under bad is because as far as animation goes, the best animation was relegated just for the opening, and then the rest of it is just trash.
I hate it when they do that.
But the stories are kind of cool, and you can tell that they really took the stories and dumbed them down for kids for this series, because if you read the comic book, it's not a kid's book. So I watched that. The other one, and this is when we start getting bad. I'm getting to that. You just stole my thunder there. The next one, the next one on Tubi. By the way, Savage Dragon is on Peacock. The next one is Ultra Force from Malibu Comics.
Nice.
Oh my god.
That's another one where it had a really great animated opening sequence, but then the interior, the meat of the episodes weren't animated all that well. A little bit better than Savage Dragon, but not that much. In fact, I think it was the same animation company. The stories are a little bit cheesy than Savage Dragon, but it only ran 1 season, so it's really easy to watch. And then the worst, as Ben Soto mentioned, is Wildcats, and that's Jim Lee's Wildcats, and it's a series that I never got to see because in Oklahoma City it was like, oh, so Wildcats is coming on, and that's a superhero violence show, and we can't have that here in the Bible Belt. No, not at all. So we're going to show something local that nobody really wants to watch.
I vaguely remember that.
And so CBS had to rush out and get the rights to have an animated series for this. And at first you're like, oh, they got Nelvana. They'll do some good animation because they did Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. If anybody has ever watched Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, if you haven't, go find them on YouTube. That's a series that needs to be on DVD right away, or somebody streaming it other than YouTube in good quality. But Nelvana got it, and it's really ishy. Although I'm not in my head, I'm not saying ish. It's really bad. It has a horrible opening theme song. It has a horrible opening animation, and then if it's bad animation in the opening, how can you get any worse than that? Well, the rest of the series is worse than the opening animation. It's just terrible all the way. The stories are terrible, and I sat and watched every episode and laughed my ass off watching that horrible show.
Sometimes you have to do that, though.
Oh, it's bad. And in fact, I recommend you watching it so you can see how much of a waste it was for Jim Lee to have his name at the top of that series. And that's what I'm putting on blast.
All right. Well, since we're in on blast and we're talking about things that we saw lately, how about a special guest?
Uh-oh.
Dun, dun, dun! Hey, it's Skom!
We got
God.
Scott. Who,
I haven't seen you in forever.
Hey, man.
Have you had a face?
Y'all hear me
day?
okay? Can you hear me
I can
okay?
hear you.
Yeah,
You don't have to yell.
Are you using Botox or something? Because I don't recognize you.
No, I just always look beautiful, Walt. It's the lotion. It's lotion. It keeps me from being ashy.
You're moisturizing.
Yeah,
Nice.
moisturizing.
Well done. So you might have seen something kind of unusual this evening.
Yeah, sometimes when you watch something as a kid and you have good memories, sometimes it's better to leave the nostalgia back where it was at. So, I just walked in the door and got right on here. So me and Gary and his son Garrison went and saw Transformers the movie on the big screen. Hi, Shell. On the big screen, first time I've seen it on the big screen since I was 12 in, I think it was 86.
That's right.
Oh, we're talking the original Transformers.
The original Transformers, the movie cartoon.
Yeah.
And here's what I remembered about it before watching it tonight. I remember thinking like the whole Transformers series, I wanted it to be really cool, but it was like right here. And then the movie went boom. This is amazing, especially for the first 30 minutes. And then it kind of levels off to back down here. And then when the series picks up after the movie, it goes right back down here again. Like, we watched it because it was on TV,
Right.
especially us who didn't have cable and stuff. We were very happy to just watch it. And there was toys, so that kind of gave us that escapism. It still is never as good as G.I. Joe. But we still enjoyed it as a kid, and I loved the movie as a kid. I was in junior high, and people, made fun of me for seeing it. And I was like, "Hey, bro, I'm gonna go see what I want to see." And then on those same trips that I got made fun of right before we got on the bus to go play a football game, the people in the back were like, "Hey, how was it? Was it good?" Because I didn't go see it because I didn't want anybody to make fun of me and stuff. So me and Robert Henry of Bad Candy fame. Successful Kickstarter Bad Candy fame. We saw that together, and we loved it as kids, and we loved the soundtrack and everything. I bought the soundtrack. I listened to the soundtrack hundreds of times.
Still listen.
Probably as a kid,
Still listen to it.
It's probably safe to say I've seen that movie at least 10 times, if not more.
Wow.
As a child, I have not seen it in any form or fashion in well over 20 years. And while I still enjoyed my experience, oh my gosh, I tried to watch it as a 47-year-old man. And the pacing of this movie is just like, I told Gary it was like if you made an adult movie, because I don't know if I can say porno, but if you made an adult movie...
And yet you said it anyway.
I bring the laughter. The pacing of the movie...
I like how you covered yourself there, man.
Let's put it this way. Back in the day, what the kids don't know, before the internet, there was these adult movies that maybe had 4 to 5 scenes of adults being adults. And in between, they had some pacing. And nobody liked that. But it still paced out stuff. This would be like an adult movie made by a director that's a rabbit. And because, the old folk tale that rabbits do everything fast. And the movie went from scene to next scene. We're going to get 2 more actors in here. Next scene, 2 more actors. All right, we need 4 people. All right, we need 20 people. I mean, bam, 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 bam. Constantly. There was no downtime. I also I can describe it as if you've seen Mad Max Fury Road, that first 20 minutes, you're gripping the seat if you see it for the first time because of all the adrenaline of him rushing around and all that stuff. That's how the whole movie of Transformers is. And yet none of it makes sense. Still to this day, I forgot how mad I get that Astro Train is the equal height of another Transformer. And yet when needed, he can transform and hold all the bad guy Transformers inside of him.
It's called mass shifting.
I know, and I've accepted it, and I'm not complaining, but I just forgot all these little things. As soon as Megatron turns into a gun to give to Starscream, who wants to betray him, I thought, like I did when I was 12, why doesn't Starscream just break him and rule the Decepticons?
Right.
And they leave the poor kid, Daniel, behind so many times to just die. You're on your own, sorry, chump. And I remember also thinking the same thing I thought when I was 12. man, I really kind of hope Daniel dies at some point in this movie because he's so annoying. And yet I knew he wasn't going to die. And you know that old thing of like, can you believe that was Orson Welles' last movie? His first movie was Citizen Kane. This was his last one. And I'm like, oh, it's not that bad. Like, we had this argument at the comic store before we headed up to watch the movie. And we read these reviews that just destroy it. And I'm like, yeah, probably, we'll see. Man, now I kind of get what they're saying because Unicron's just an idiot, kind of. You know, like, he's just dumb. And
it ain't Citizen Kane.
No.
And now, I watched it at this fast pace, and even Gary's son goes, I can't tell if that movie was 30 minutes or 2 hours because it just boom, 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 boom all the time. And at times the animation is terrible, and at the time the animation is actually, I think, very nice. But I'm looking through it with 12-year-old eyes. So I was very happy to see it where we were at. I don't know if the original copies of Transformers was like this, but some of the talking was low, and then the music was very loud. And so, like, it just felt weird at times. I felt like the old man that wants to say, turn down the music, and then at other times I was like, turn up the volume so I can hear them talk.
Right.
It was definitely
that's bad mixing.
It was definitely. I didn't want to believe this because the review said it's an hour and 30-minute toy commercial, and I was like, no, that's not true. And
yeah, it is.
It's true. It's 100% true. And I don't know if it was worth my $15 to see it, but I enjoyed the moment, and I'm probably going to let this one rest. This will probably be the last time I see Transformers the movie until I die and pass this mortal coil. Right. Because I want to say, like, I know for at least half my life I love that movie. Soundtrack, I think, is still fun. It's
the
good.
The soundtrack is one of the reasons why I still pull it out on DVD. So
I agree. It's still good. Like
Dare to Be Stupid.
So
I lose my ish when Dare to Be Stupid starts playing.
And then I had that same complaint that I had back then because the first time Megatron returns as Galvatron, he shoots Starscream, right? And Starscream turns to ash and crumbles. I think the scene that they cut out of the movie is where Unicron goes, Galvatron, here's a magic bullet. This will destroy the Matrix. I need you to use this one bullet on the Matrix and it will destroy it. And all will be good. And he goes, sure, no problem, boss. But he gets so mad at Starscream, he uses that magic bullet right then, and that's why his gun was never the same. It never fired that bullet again. So
Starscream was never the same either.
I know. So, anyways, I saw the movie. I hate to tell everybody, it's not as good as we remember. I think this is why the Star Wars movies aren't as good as the Star Wars movies we saw when we were younger. They had magic, and like sometimes it's good to keep that magic in a bottle and remember how it was. So, anyways, is this off blast where we talk about things? Yep. I'm going to do this because I'm going to leave y'all here in a second. Was Doug on tonight, by the way?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yes. All right. So since this is themey with the Transformer stuff.
Oh, here, hang on a second.
Awesome.
There you go.
So I found the red series of the Starscream from the movie, the Generation 1.
That's cool, man.
That's very cool.
So
badass.
I'm going to complain also on these because I'm going to sound like the old man that says back in my day. These toys, I am so scared to pose because it feels like the plastic could break at any moment. For real, it's like a very, very soft plastic. They look very cool, but even Gary's son, who tried to play with this, put it up because he's like, I can't play with this. I feel like I'm going to break it.
Wow.
And so this is the only one I took out of a package, and I usually take all my toys out of a package. I'm so dissatisfied with this that I'd almost like to sell all 5 of my Generation 1 Red Series toys because I don't like keeping them in package. But anyways, I just thought I'd let you know what toys are like. Yeah, I'm a weird old man because I think toys should be like cool and be able to be played with. Because
of course,
I agree with you on that.
Yes, this is why I take all my pops out.
It looks neat.
I mean, even if you're going to pay $20 for this toy should be able to where I could give this to maybe not like some kid who doesn't have good parents, but like a kid that could go play with this. And I mean, like putting on the cape, the wings broke off a few times. Now they didn't break. They just slipped off their plastic and they slipped back in. But the whole thing just feels, I mean, you can see how it shakes and wobbles and everything else. I mean,
how old are those, Scott?
This is a brand new toy.
Yeah.
This is a brand new toy. I showed off some of the other ones I found in package before. Anyways, they look amazing. These are the series of Transformers that do not transform. They look just like they did on the cartoon. They're just a big giant action figure. But as I move this, I'm actually kind of scared that like I could break it at any point. So it's weird, and I'm kind of disappointed because I was going to open all of them. So I'm probably going to make some money back and just sell them. Wow. Anyways, that's my review. Cool toy, but looks cooler in the box than it does in real life. So
Steve says made in China.
yeah, well,
Probably.
isn't everything. So
What isn't?
I think that's all I got for you guys, though. But anyways,
That was fun.
That was fun.
so I missed the show for some nostalgia, but in hindsight, it's probably
That's
better if
cool.
I just would have came on here and just talked about, oh, I'm missing this great movie. I sure wish I could have been there.
Yeah, I'll be glad.
Right.
Anyways, all right, you guys keep doing a good job. I'm gonna get off here. I'll talk to you guys later.
Thanks
All right,
for
have a
sharing,
good
man.
one.
Good night.
Hey, no
Bye.
problem. Y'all take care. Bye bye.
Aisley wants to know where she wants our deets. We're
get
about
there,
to get to
Aisley.
that. We're getting
We'll
there.
get there.
We're getting
we'll-
there here in just a moment.
We'll get to that here in a minute.
Ben said the Optimus death scene in that movie scared him.
Scarred him.
Oh, scarred him. I'm sorry, scarred
And
him.
what was great about
That was a big
scene-
deal at the time. Holy
Yeah.
cats.
What was great about that for me, which had me go see the movie twice in the theater, was all the little kids that were 7 years old or younger burst out into tears and crying. And for like 15 minutes throughout the movie, they were just crying. One father was so upset he had to pull his kids out of the movie theater, take them home.
Wow.
Yeah,
My
Steve
buddies
says that
and
only Eric Idle could pull off Wreck Car.
he's
Yeah.
correct.
Yes.
My
Yeah.
buddy
Shawn.
and I wasn't 16 yet. I didn't have my license or anything. This was 86. And two of my other buddies from high school, we went for a matinee. I want to say it was during the summer. We went to a matinee and we saw it. We were the only 16-year-olds in that building. There were about 5 mothers and about 30 to 40 children,
Right.
and we were getting all the eyeballs because it was like, what are these creepers doing? You know, it's like, piss off, we're watching the Transformers.
Right.
I remember in the theater there were some curse words which were then later edited
Yes.
out of
Yep.
the
Yeah.
DVD.
Yeah, that was a big deal at the time again.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Right. And when those scenes happened, I laughed, my buddies laughed, but you could hear the
The kids
from
go
all
to,
the,
oh,
oh no, the kid, I don't even
Yeah.
think the kids realized.
oh,
But
the
the
kids.
parents were like, oh no.
right.
The
kids
kids
are-
in my theater,
Right.
did. I remember seeing one kid do this. He did the, oh, Daddy, he said, oh. I thought that was a cute moment.
Yep.
Welcome
Anyway.
to the world, son. Welcome to the world.
Hey, that's one I saw in the movies back in the day. That was a big deal at the time.
It
I
was
can
a big
actually
deal.
say I saw that one in the movies. So yeah.
Gary says and welcome, Gary. Gary said that tonight was complete with the curse words, so they didn't censor that out. It was intact.
Well, a little bit of trivia on that as well is that for a long time, you know, when it was put on DVD, for a long time they could not find the original prints. So that was the reason why you couldn't have a letterbox, like a full screen letterbox version. And for a long time, the letterbox versions were digitally cropped. They weren't the full screen. So up until about maybe 3 or 4 years ago, they found an original print. And that's the reason why now you can get it with the 2 curse words back in there.
That seems to be happening a lot lately.
It
There's,
does.
I don't know if I don't know exactly what the deal is. If it's the destruction of a lot of these old movie theaters or what the deal is, but there seems to be a surge. I buy a lot of stuff from oh crap,
Severin?
Severin, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I buy a lot of stuff from Severin videos, you know, and these are movies that I'll
These
put money
are-
down that nobody here has ever seen.
These are highly obscure, old horror
And-
movies.
And a lot of these movies are are again,
It's just one of Orson Welles' finest performances.
again, they're
Steve said they
movies
found it
that
on Pirate Bay.
they find they find these old original negatives that were lost to time, and then they found them in this old movie theater, and then they
It's extraordinary that they
restored them.
found these things.
So there's a lot of that. Apparently, there's a lot of that going on.
Dude, if they weren't doing what they're doing, those films, for good or bad, would be lost to time
Yeah.
completely.
And that's one of the reasons why
Because
I
they're
love
not
Severing.
Jaws. You know, I mean, that film is in the American Film Institute. That you know, it'll be preserved for all time. But you know,
I believe
whatever.
they just installed the refurbished original Jaws shark in the entry.
Yeah.
That's
But
like the,
you know, those
the-
old horror films would be gone.
Oh, definitely.
You
That's
know,
like the
without
original-
these restorations.
the original 2 Doctors of Doctor Who.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good
When,
example.
You know, BBC had that fire, and they lost a lot of those
Those
copies
magnetic
and then
tapes.
those magnetic tapes. And back in the day, they also used the magnetic tapes over and over. I remember.
Yeah,
was
they just
maybe,
recorded right over it because they thought no one will ever want to see this
Again.
shite
I remember
again.
it was 15 years ago, some young man in Saudi Arabia came forward to the BBC and presented them with the tapes from the first 2 Doctors, and he said, "My dad
Wow.
worked for you, and he brought these home."
And he wasn't a moron like you.
Wow.
Yeah, and he's like,
For real.
Are you interested in having these? And the BBC was like, "Yes, please, thank you very much." Which is why now.
By the way, here's a stipend of $20 million.
Well, yeah, he did ask for money, which I can't say to blame him for it. And the BBC happily gave it to him.
I
But
would
they're
think.
slowly now going through and restoring these, which is why if you're on,
Tubi
it's
or no,
No,
Pluto.
BritBox.
BritBox.
Oh.
BritBox has the original, the first 8. You can go and actually see the first 2 Doctors, and in places where they couldn't restore the tape, they did some little. Dan watched them more than I did, but he said on a couple of them they put like a little cartoon in there, you know, of the Doctor, because they still had the audio, but they didn't have the visual to fix things up. But they're still in the process of restoring the first, you know, a lot of the first 2 Doctors run for the public to consume. And if that guy had just not even paid attention to what his father had stashed, we wouldn't have those.
Clearly, his dad is much like us. He just hoards everything.
Just collects
Yeah.
everything. Gigi says, please get a fire extinguisher. Shawn is on fire. Steve said that was at the same time as the
Yeah.
50th anniversary,
Yeah.
right at the height of the rebooted series.
Yeah.
They're not at the height right now. That's one of my On Blast items.
No, I know what you're going to talk about.
Okay, Shawn. You delayed, but now totally in charge of On Blast.
I have watched and downloaded and read so much, but I'm not going to share all of it. Just a few.
All right. Well,
First thing
we'll take what you give us.
First thing I wanted to talk about was on Netflix. There's a series called He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, not to be confused with
You tell me when to add this.
whenever you like, not to be confused with Kevin Smith's Masters of the Universe. This is an all new.
Revelations.
Yes, this is an all new He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Go ahead. This is a completely CGI animated shoe
Shoe.
on
Right here in the shoe.
on Netflix, and right off the bat, if this is of interest, if He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, if you have an interest at all in the original, the characters and whatnot, I highly recommend this show. This was a lot of fun. It's definitely a kid's show. It's not it's not like, you know, hyper violent or anything like that. But it is a lot of fun, a lot of silliness, a lot of comedy, and also a lot of action. The characters are very interestingly designed. There's
Well, those are good pictures.
there's really some interesting things going on with, again, the new look of He-Man here, followed by Masters at Arms, Orko, Battle Cat, and of course the brand new and female Ram Man.
They go by Ram Ma'am.
Ram
Ram,
Man.
ma'am.
It's ma'am. Sorry.
And by the way, that takes us back to Michael J. Straczynski, seeing as he's the original writer for the introduction of Ram Man in the original He-Man series.
Yep.
So-
One of the worst toys ever, but really
Exactly.
cool comic book. Here we have Skeletor and his minions, Trapjaw, Evelyn, and Beastman. Again, the designs on these are absolutely fantastic.
They are
Design's
awesome.
A serious upgrade.
Uh,
Serious.
in this image, we've got Tila as the new sorceress. Everything about this, I just, again, I had a ball. I had an absolute ball with. I love the characters. I love the design of the characters. This is an origin tale. First season, where we're discovering who Prince Adam is and who He-Man is and who all the characters are. It was really done, I think, very, very well. And again, with these designs, it was a lot of fun. I may
That cat
actually
looks kick ass.
right. I might actually have to try to find these toys.
I thought
I'm
about
right
that
there
too.
with you. I'm right there
Yeah,
with
I
you.
thought about that too.
I'm kind of chuckling over the fact that He-Man sort of looks like Thor.
Well, you know,
It's a thing.
he's big and pretty. The only complaint that I have, and apparently the cat does too, is that I'm not a fan of the sword. I wish that it would have maintained the look of the original sword. They could tweak it, they could jazz it up, they could do whatever, but that the shape of that original sword was so iconic. I think they should have kept that. Outside of that, I'm digging everything about this. After the season ended, I believe there's only 10 episodes. After the 10th episode, I'm sitting there going, "But okay, the next season is coming out next week, right?" You know, I mean,
Right.
I was ready for this. This was a lot of fun. It was really just a lot of fun. If you're in the mood, if you're willing to give it a chance, I do highly recommend it.
It is on my watch list.
I would give it a watch. Each episode is about 30 minutes, 20, 25, somewhere in there. Not a real hard watch. I definitely recommend it. The other thing, or one of the other things that I watched, which is not for the kiddies, was Berserk.
Mm.
Do not play this for your children. Do not allow your children to watch this. If you do, you're a bad parent. Bad parent. This was
And that's paraphrasing Deadpool.
This is it's a very adult story. If you're not familiar with Berserk, it's a very graphic, violent, lots of sexuality, lots of nudity. But with that being said, this was an excellent. There's on Netflix. There's 3 parts, with a 4th one hopefully coming fairly soon. But the 3 parts that are available, they're about an hour and a half, I think, each, and excellent animation. I showed Dirk just a quick clip of it not too long ago,
Was
just
awesome.
the other day. It's a great style. It looks fantastic. It plays well, and it was a fantastic watch. I enjoyed it immensely. I'm actually I've got to go get the manga now. To get the fuller story and to read more about these characters. This was just an excellent show.
I will say that this Berserk has been on DVD since before it even hit Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you don't have Netflix, you can definitely find this at your nearest Walmart. Trust me on this. You can find this at Walmart.
It was awesome. It was a fantastic. And again, it's a CGI animated, but it's made to look like cell animation, so it plays really well. It's beautiful job with that one. The other thing is yet another Kickstarter. I know what you're thinking. Another Kickstarter? Yes. But this is the first time I've ever actually backed a video game.
Uh-oh. Dun, dun,
Dun, dun,
Dun,
dun.
dun, dun.
And that video game is Black Book. The prologue is a free download. I think you can get your hands on. But the video game itself, Black Book, was a Kickstarter that I want to say I bid on about a year, maybe a little over a year ago, and I recently got the download code for my Xbox. Downloaded it. Haven't had a chance to check it out, but a lot of things that I've read, it's a fun. Well, I say fun. I don't know. I haven't played it yet. It's based on. Oh, see now all the details are leaving me. It's based on, like I want to say like a Polish mythology. I think I'll have to dig up the details on it, but it's old school Eastern European mythologies, and it is an RPG based game here. A lot of text. I don't believe that they have voices, but look at these graphics. Even as a flat, which obviously you get to fight, all kinds of critters here, but it's like the old classic, read your next adventure type of thing here.
I'm digging
And,
the style of this.
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. And of course that was one of the reasons why I backed it. It seemed like way more fun than I could avoid. So again, first video game I've ever backed, and I'm eagerly
cool.
awaiting playing that to see if my money was well spent. And that's all I got.
All right.
Cool.
All right. Then it's up to me, man. First thing I have is Fight Girls by
Frank Cho.
Frank Cho. Where is it at? Frank Cho. Look, all you need to know is it's 24 pages of what Frank Cho does best. Okay?
That's all dinosaurs and women.
Dinosaurs and women, man.
Pretty
That's what
much.
you got in this.
I have not gotten mine yet.
I don't know what else. I don't know what else you need. I mean, it's Frank Cho drawing dinosaurs and women. Okay. What? I mean, do you need to know anything else?
That's it.
Called Fight Girls. There's a couple of issues of that out right now. So there's that. Ultramax. Anyone?
That sounds
Done by
familiar.
our guest, Doug Wood.
I got
watched
mine.
the 5th episode of the first season of The New Doctor last night, late. And those are terrible.
Yep.
They're really, really bad. And the issue that I have with it is not that the Doctor is a woman. I actually like her a lot. I like her a lot. Her take on the Doctor's right on target. She's goofy and, inspired and she plays the Doctor. She's doing the Doctor. I like the
Awesome
companions.
in Attack the Block.
Oh, yes. the other members, her companions, I like all of them. They're great too. I love the characters and the way they interact with each other, the way they write the characters. I like that. But the stories are terrible.
The stories are boring.
The stories are so boring. They want to preach to you so bad on every episode about how you're not woke enough. You're just not woke enough. You just need to travel to other times and other galaxies to become more woke. There was a story that this episode was set back during I guess before India and Pakistan split and they moved the Muslims to Pakistan. Interesting. That's an interesting story. I have no problem with that. It followed one of the companions who wanted to know about her grandmother. So you go back in time to explore the I had no problem with that. And then I guess there was a board meeting or something where they go, well, it's Doctor Who. We better put some aliens in this. So they tacked on these aliens who originally were supposed to be like assassins or something. And then they find out they're not assassins. They're just there to observe. So the whole story was just... It was very clear that they didn't want to tell the story about the aliens or anything fun or interesting. They just wanted to tell you the story about when Pakistan and India broke up and stuff, which again, that's fine. But don't tack on the alien crap just to make yourself feel better and make you think that you're doing a Doctor Who story. It's ridiculous. It's insulting. Whoever, I don't know who it was. I know that the showrunner's a guy who has a
Chris Chibnall,
who has a big history. Okay, that's the name. Who has a big history with the BBC. This guy should not be doing Doctor Who because he doesn't want to do Doctor Who.
Preach it louder, Dirk, please.
He just wants to preach to you about woke shit, and it's boring. It's terrible. Yep. I've watched 5 episodes of this first season, and every episode is like this. It's like, have you ever watched Doctor Who? One of the brilliant things about Kevin Feige is before he lets you do anything with the Marvel Universe is he talks to the people who are going to do it and says, do you even like the Marvel Universe? If you don't like the Marvel Universe, you're out of there. You're gone. You can't do it. You can't do it. You cannot participate in the Marvel Universe if you're not a fan of the character that you're doing.
Or the story in general.
Nutsack is not a fan of Doctor Who and should be excised from this immediately. As it turns out, they've gone back to get a completely different guy, the guy who actually resurrected this new round of the stuff. What is it, Russell T. Davies?
Russell T. Davies. Yeah.
They're bringing him back, and I said this is like Steve Jobs coming back to Apple. This is, thank God.
Yep.
Thank God. But I mean, what a shame, because the Doctor and the companions are fine. They deserved a better showrunner.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
So that's my opinion on that subject. My final thing is I am reading the original story, the first story of all time. It was before the Bible. It was before the Iliad and the Odyssey. It's called Gilgamesh. And I got interested in this because there's a Gilgamesh Kickstarter that's going on right now. And I thought, I don't know anything about Gilgamesh. Well, Gilgamesh is one of those things that it's been around so long, it's pretty cheap to buy on Amazon, okay? So you can get a hold of this thing. And I learned a few things by reading about the first third of this book. And one of the things that I learned about is the temple harlot. So let me take you back in time and tell you about Gilgamesh, who was talking to someone who was a farmer. And the farmer said, look, I got this guy who's super strong. He's hairy. And he's like messing with my goats, and he's like drinking from my water stuff, but he's super strong. I can't get rid of him. He's causing all kinds of trouble with his animal friends. What am I going to do? And Gilgamesh goes, hey, no problem. I'm going to send a temple harlot out there to take care of this issue. And so a temple harlot, apparently, back in the olden days, was something like a nun and like a member of a SWAT team and a stripper.
Okay.
So they send this...
A stripping SWAT team nun.
Yes.
Awesome.
So they send this, specialist.
Comic book.
Right?
Yep.
They send this specialist out to deal with this animal man who is causing problems for these farmers and stuff. And she goes out there and she removes her clothes. And this animal man goes, holy crap, I've never seen anything like this before. And he spends like 4 or 5 days with her, right? And then, like, after he spends some time with her and goes, wow, this is really amazing, all of his animal friends shun him. They're like, the animal friends are like, we will no longer, you can't run with us anymore because you've been with the temple harlot, right? So the temple harlot takes care of all these problems just by going out and, disrobing, right? And so then the guy has to go into the city and talk to Gilgamesh, which was Gilgamesh's plan all the time. So that's what I learned by reading the first part of Gilgamesh, is about how incredibly helpful temple harlots are.
All right, so which one of you is actually going to start doing the Temple Harlot comic books? That's my
Yeah,
question.
I'm telling you, I'm ready. I'm ready to do the temple harlot.
Hey,
her name was Shamhat. Shamhat, the temple harlot.
Let's discuss this when we go off the air here.
Okay, great. Great. We should do that. It's story time with Taskforce Geek. Steve wants to talk about Doctor Who.
And we
Ainsley says, hello, I'm back. We're about to go to our credits. We'll tell you where we're all from.
We're about to do that right now.
Steve says would like to have seen what she could do with Russell. Yeah, Russell back at the helm. Why don't they keep that doctor on? But she's already done her 2 seasons, and she's probably taken enough hassle. But it's not her fault. She was good. She was good as far as I was concerned, but she got such terrible. Yeah, here we go. Got seriously tired of them forcing headlines down my throat. I mean, just, can we have a few episodes where it's just aliens and, like a huge overarching storyline that pays off, like Bad Wolf at the end of the season? Can we have that, please?
That was some real Daleks and
wonderful. That was wonderful. Can we have some of that?
I'll take Adipose back. Okay. I know, Steve. I'm sorry, but his name had to be said for the annals of time.
Russell T. Davies says, just need Moffat back and the world can continue rotating. And I liked Moffat too. I realize that people have problems with him. But some of the best stuff he wrote and some of the best, my favorite episodes were in the Moffat run as well.
Yeah. He's definitely better than the other one. He who shall not be named.
Yeah, that guy needs to be excised from maybe if we could put him in a rocket ship and firing him into the sun.
Yeah. Okay.
Damn.
Maybe that would be a good place for him.
It was like putting the director of The Mummy on the first G.I. Joe movie.
Yeah,
no.
It wasn't good.
That didn't work.
No, it didn't work.
It did not work.
He didn't care for G.I. Joe. So
yeah.
Hey, it's promo time. Let's go with Beth first.
So, let's see. What do I got? You've got my banners.
Supplies.
Hey, there we go. See? Look, there's where you can find me. If you're looking to buy my books, you can get them at bethanfreely.com. If you are looking for website or book editing work, you can hit me up at themusesfunhouse.com. You can find me at Instagram and Twitter at BAFreely. My link tree is also there for all the other places you can find me. And I recently launched a Patreon. So if you want to help support me, as a writer,
she has 140 tiers.
I do not have 140 tiers. I have 8 tiers. Unlike the guys,
just shy of 140.
You're adorable. Just like unlike the guys, I can't do Kickstarters. Kickstarters don't work as well for authors, so I have a Patreon instead. And I have tiers starting for $3, where just because you want to. And my Undying Things, all the way up to $20, where if you are a reader, you get to have some input on my stories as a beta reader.
That's pretty
You
cool.
also get what else did I put in there? I put a lot of stuff in there.
140.
I did put 140 acknowledgments in the book. Exclusive content such as short stories, deleted scenes, mood boards, stuff like that. As I'm working on the books, you get a sneak peek on the backside.
All
of what
authors
I
should do what you're doing. This is a great idea.
Yeah, live Q&As if you wanna talk with me. I even have on there for the $20 tier. I will commission a short story specifically for you. You can commission a short story with me. I will write a short story for you that won't be published anywhere else. It's all for you and only you. So
Wow.
if you're looking for someone to give a little backing to, hi.
Steve would like to do Speed Racer episodes.
Steve Racer.
Steve Racer,
Steve
yes.
just needs to back me end a sentence. So there you go.
Oh, here we go.
Ooh.
Steve says he
Oh.
wants Babylon 5 fanfics.
For you, Steve, yes. Steve,
Gauntlet
back me. You
Throne.
might get the rewrite of the Highlander one. Oh, there you go. Also in November, I will be doing what exactly is it called? The 4th annual Galveston Island Book Festival. So if you're down in Galveston Island the weekend of November 13th, stop by around the old post office and come see me. I will have my books for sale. And that's pretty much what I got.
Here he comes. Here
Here
comes
Steve
Steve
Racer.
Racer.
He's
He's
a
a demon on
demon.
wheels.
And you know what? He is a demon on wheels. Really, he is.
I'm not sure
I've
sitting down.
I've ridden in the car with him before. Believe it or not, his driving doesn't scare me as much as everybody else's out there.
He says that his on blast is he got a Kickstarter package, copies of Forgotten Hymns,
Oh, nice.
which is interesting. I don't have that.
I haven't gotten
Do you
mine
have
yet.
that, Sean?
Mine, if he's gotten his, mine should be on its way.
Mine should be on its way too. Yeah.
I mean, Sean gets a lot of credit. I
I
remember
get that
seeing
one?
those. And Glamorella's daughter. What are they offering Steve on Glamorella's daughter? What was the package on that? I'm just curious. All right, Walt, are we going to you, or am I just
You're going to
scrolling
me. You're
Oh.
scrolling the thing, so
I'm scrolling the stuff.
yeah, you're scrolling the stuff.
All right, well get on it then, man. I'll figure it out.
All right, these are the places where you can find me. The Facebook, What Walter Cons. I actually have commission pricing on there now, and in fact, I want to show you what I'm working on now. That is going to be probably available, and it's one part of it.
All right.
I'm finally doing comic.
Hey,
I'm finally doing comic sketch covers,
yes,
and the first one I'm doing is Cammy
cool.
from
cool.
Street Fighter, and it's a Cammy issue 1. This is just the backing board
What?
for the comic.
Nice.
So when I'm done with these will be available for purchase. I haven't decided on a price yet, so
That is
that's
cool,
one of the
OD.
things that you can get.
I like it.
Also, you can buy some of my swag at my Zazzle store, which is Zazzle.com/what studio art, and I think there's underscores underneath all of those. You can see me at my whatstudioart.blogspot.com. You can find me playing video games every once in a while at twitch.tv/gachaman_1. So these are the places you can find me. Not listed here, but you can also find me on Instagram at gachaman_1. So, and that's it for me.
Good stuff.
Thank you.
All
Thank you very
right.
much.
Sean Wilson.
As
Private
usual,
Eye.
as usual, you can find me at rankingstudios.com. That is rankingstudios.com. rankingstudios.com. There you can find my portfolio, as well as Dirk's portfolio, as well as Scott's portfolio, as well as Robert Henry's
Is
portfolio.
our guest Robert
as
Henry? Yes.
we were all a part of the same studio.
Yep.
You can also find a commission page for both Dirk and myself, where you can give us money to make stuff like really cool, pretty illustrations and what have you. Please feel free to stop by, drop us a line there, or you can also find us at Facebook /Ranking Studios. both places. Again, feel free to drop us a line. Say hi. Say bye. Say whatever you want. Really, I read everything, and I'm lonely.
I'm gonna put something else out there for you on that one. Rain King Studios. I mean, we need a theme song for that. Will somebody just drop them a theme song for that?
We're gonna get a theme song?
Because I know there's some musician friends of mine out there that
right.
may be watching this. Let's get a Rain King Studios theme song.
That would be wonderful.
Something upbeat, something peppy.
That would be wonderful.
Not too peppy. And what I mean by peppy is not anything poppy. Peppy, yes, not poppy.
I don't want it to be confused with the song that came out in the early 90s.
No, we don't want that either.
Oh yes, certainly.
But, you know,
although that is the origin of that phrase.
Something, you know, nice.
We'll tell that story sometime.
Oh, Steve's
it's exciting.
Steve's got the skizzy on the.
I know. We're going to put it out here. Glamorella's Daughter issue 2 was all 3 covers, and Always Science Everything decal. I like that. Stickers, and a Leave Me Alone, I'm Reading door hanger. I like that too. Yeah, I like that too. All right, that's pretty cool.
I just want to throw one more thing out, if that's okay, Dirk.
Please. Run home stretch now, man.
Just so everybody knows, book covers are not cheap. And I just received the contract for the photos for my next 4 books. It's $3,000 for exclusive on these photos. But after struggling for 15 years, I've gotten to the point where my books deserve decent covers. So please, if nothing else, know that if you support me on Patreon, yeah, it will pay off. The books will be beautiful. You will get copies of them if you support me on Patreon, and you will be helping me pay for these covers and the marketing for them. Just wanted to throw them out there.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, there's my stuff. I'm going to be at Oafcon this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. If you're not familiar with Oafcon, Oafcon's been around for a long time in Oklahoma. Not as long as SoonerCon, but pretty long. It's basically a comic book convention. They give away free tables to artists, comic artists, if you're from Oklahoma. That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
That's a pretty cool deal. So I jumped on board that thing. In preparation for that, I did this piece of artwork. So I'm doing a little, little analog work.
I want to see
that'll
you
be
do
available
a cap.
at the.
I want to see you do a cap and a bucky.
I thought about doing that.
I knew that was coming.
I thought about doing the rest of the Avengers. I'm not very fast, but I'm faster. I'm faster doing analog art for certain. So anyway, if you want to see all of my stuff, it's down there. You can see it. It's all good stuff. That's what I got. I also want to really quickly. Let's see. I want to get Scott's thing out here because he dropped by. So there's the scroll on Scott. We appreciate him dropping by and telling us his story about the Transformers thing. That was good stuff. So there is one good run on that. And then also just before we go, I want to make sure to give all the stuff for Bad Candy #3. Please support Robert. He's got a Kickstarter going right now. Anything that you put towards that will help with resources and getting extra copies printed and hopefully do cool, neat things on that. And I have a cover on there if you want to help support something that I did something with. And finally, our buddy Doug, I want to make sure that you get over there and support Savage Wizard because it's pretty cool. I don't know how you can get the... Yeah, I don't know how you can get the idea, which is kind of what if Conan was forced to be a wizard. That's pretty cool. And if you look at the artwork, I think that speaks for itself. Go back and watch Doug's segment and take a look at the artwork. I think that's all the sales that you need on that subject.
I love the detail on that. It looks really cool looking.
Oh, he got Sooner Force Kickstarter stuff a couple months back.
Cool.
I like the art on Sooner Force. All right. I think that's it, guys. Does anyone have anything that they want to add, or we'll wrap this up? And I'll go eat. starving.
Thursdays, join Walt, Dirk, and I for spoiler alert at 3:00.
3:00 on Thursday.
Absolutely. Do you guys know what it is yet this week? Spoiler alert?
It's the continuation of Ultron. This is our.
Wait a minute. They're going to pick up at the end of the last episode?
Yep.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Wow.
because they said from what I've learned, the last 2 episodes will be linked. So
Wow.
So the rumor is
that's
that
cool.
we're going to get the Guardians of
little
the
more excited.
Multiverse. So
Oh, okay.
that's
I like
that's
that.
the rumor or something to that effect. So
Steve has a good point and something that maybe I forgot about. He says, "Go support Vance Launchpad
Yes.
Kickstarter."
Yes.
They're about a third of the way on that, and they only have about a week left. But we are going to have Nate Wells, who did Heartland Blood, on next week. I meant to mention that. So he's going to be on here. I'm going to just go ahead and invite Michael Pickard to return. We will focus on Nate Wells, but I'm going to have Michael Pickard on so that he can speak for Vance Launchpad, because Heartland Blood has funded. They got kind of the last little leg of that all of a sudden. I don't know what happened. I'm interested to know. Heartland Blood's very cool comic, and it certainly deserves to be funded, but so does Vance Launchpad.
Yeah,
Vance Launchpad definitely.
So go
Yeah,
to Kickstarter if you're interested. Go to Kickstarter. Check out Vance Launchpad. Thank you, Steve, for bringing that up. That's excellent. Steve also says, "Had fun again." Thank you, Steve, very much. Thank you,
Always
Steve
do.
Racer. That is good stuff. All right. So for Doug, for Robert, for Beth, for Shawn, for Walt,
For Scott.
for Scott, we had quite a gathering here this evening. And to all of the people who watched this evening and chimed in from the Philippines.
From the Philippines. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for trying.
Thank
Thanks
you.
to
Thank
all
you
the
very
friends
much.
and all of the people who watched this evening. We had a blast. Thank you all very much. We appreciate every one of you who watch. Until next time, this is Dark Hooper saying, dream hard.